I just pasted the
Cheat
ones
sheet
that
one.
I had. I put.
I'm nervous on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. Why do I still have hope? So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see your God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever felt this? It's a feeling so unheard. When every time I hear your voice, like my feelings having no choice. And every time I hear your voice, I wish I could remember. When every time I When every time I hear your voice, like my feelings having no choice. And every time I hear your voice, I wish I could remember. All I want is take me down. All this time I've been trapped in, not knowing where my heart is. I've been telling myself to stop. Just make me whole. Just make me whole. Just let me
You just like the bad girl.
Welcome
to Alexi.
Lights flashing bright. Players take the stage.
I'm just ulting.
Two down, two down.
I got another heal.
Reckon's here.
Renekton's looking for R on me. Oh, he's gonna get the shotty.
Jeez.
Nicely done.
This is like literally a pentakill, man.
Oh, was it?
Only I get pentakills
Oh.
on this team.
My bad.
It's CCMU now going on to the support. Doesn't even matter. Ojutsu does kind of time out, however. I don't know if the fight is going to go the way of TD Royal. They're actually kind of running away now. Hoodie Man is doing some kind of CC. Jinx is everything right now. If Jinx lives, they win the game. If they don't, they could see the game extended. But Funny Man is just fighting on the steps of the farm, dodges everything. Funny Man is popping off right now. It doesn't even matter if Raven is turned up.
Game's on fire now.
Funny Man will just pop off and get a pentakill.
Every player counts. Show 'em we care. Strategy in play. Eyes on the prize. From the bottom up, reach for the skies. Tonight, everyone's fighting.
Hello and welcome to Playoffs, because here we are for Arbiter Season 2 Summer Split. And today we're going to be watching OSG Avalanche versus Riftbusters. Now what's so exciting for playoffs for Arbiter is because we had two sectors for these teams. This is going to be the first time the sectors are interacting. So I'm going to be here as Scarlet Q with my co-host Pradles, and we're going to be bringing you these playoffs games, which means we're in best of 5 as well.
Yeah, so this is going to be an exciting match tonight. Like you mentioned, these teams are from different sectors, so they haven't played each other once this split. So it's going to be definitely going to be an exciting match to watch. And I'm curious to see how these two teams, like what the research they have done, how prepared they are going into these games. And looks like we're almost ready for draft, but Soul Keeper is saying give us 1 minute. But we're getting there. We're getting close. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see what these two teams are here to bring out, because it is playoffs, it is quarterfinals, so it's the first week of playoffs for Arbiter. So ready to
And it's not
ready to
it's
see,
not only
ready to go.
not only just sorry, it's not only the first time that these two teams have faced each other, but it's the first time the sectors have interacted as well. There's so many teams in Arbiter, but none of the Sector 1 teams have yet played the Sector 2 teams. And we've got some off-stream games, and today's game of Avalanche versus Riftbusters were the first time every game is a Sector 1 versus Sector 2 team. And today will be the first time we get to see, like, hey, was Sector 1 just really broken and therefore they're going to all get through, or are we going to continue to have these matchups? But here we go with bans, and there's a Katarina ban.
Yeah, I do remember that from last week against Riftbusters when Spelling Bee champions are playing against them. So Katarina ban, I'm not surprised to see. And then on the side of Riftbusters, that Aurelian Soul, a very strong champion right now. Same with the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn got she got buffed, but then Fleet Footwork got nerfed, so Caitlyn's in a rather awkward state right now. But Ezreal too, same thing against the Surgeon on Riftbusters. So glad to see a couple of those 80 carries going out of the way, getting out of this game.
Yeah.
And then that Sejuani, that's been a pretty much a staple pick for most of these teams in Arbiter, I feel like, in the jungle. So
Yeah, 80
a lot of
carries have
standard
been-
bans we see coming out right here.
They've
And
been
there's
on the
a
hit
Lilia
list
ban.
for a while. But that is 2 jungle
Yeah.
bans and a mid lane bans for Riftbusters, so they are not worried about it. Kaisa, first pick. I don't think she's in as good a spot as she used to be for first pick, but here she is still today in September
I
of
mean,
2024, you know?
OSG did ban out 2 of the safest blind pick AD carries in Caitlyn and Ezreal. So Kaisa, I guess, if you're going down the tier list, I'm not 100% sure what the AD carry from OSG plays. Xerxes. Oh, I did see Xerxes. I want to say they played Ezreal and actually a Twitch coming out from Riftbusters. That is a bit of a surprising pick. That is very much a solo queue champion right here. But
Yeah,
we'll
sometimes
have to see.
you pinch the pool hard enough and something crazy comes out, like the Twitch. It's nice because
Yeah.
I've heard both these supports play really hard engage. Apparently, last week you guys got to see Google Mop go really hard engage with a certain fish champion. Viego going on top of that, so we won't quite get to see what support is going in, but Viego definitely says some kind of way about the team fight that's
Mhm.
coming up.
Yeah, but Viego also a very strong jungler right now. If you can't get that Sejuani or that Lilia, Viego's pretty much the next one on that tier list. So, not at all surprising to be seeing that come out from the side of Riftbusters. And I'm curious to see what OSG Avalanche is going to respond with. And it is just the Amumu. Bringing that Curse of the Sad Mummy does bring a lot of CC. Now, that could be an Amumu support. That is always a flex pick, so we don't know if that's going jungle yet. But we'll have to see what that B3 pick is going to be from the side of Avalanche, and we'll have to see if that Amumu gets flexed or not. Because
Okay,
never mind,
well,
it
immediately
is
breaks the
definitely not
flex.
flexed. Yeah,
But what I like about this is that you pick 2 CC champions and 2 champions that do not like CC. Twitch shows up, wants to start the party. Leona ult shuts him down immediately. Viego as well. Well, he's got a little bit of stealth on the first part. After he gets CC for a while, he's just dead. And I know you can say that about a
yeah.
lot of champions, but Viego especially is weak to that. But
Oh,
Tom Kench is back! And that's
there's
probably
the
Tom Kench
catfish.
support. That's one way to deal with CC. Now, you don't want to open up a Twitch or
Mm.
get CC'd and then Tom Kench eat your 80 carry, but you can still do a lot of things with this Tom Kench.
Yeah, as we saw last week, Google Mop on that Tom Kench is a very scary threat. So this will be really exciting to see. Actually, we were joking
Well, these
before the
bans are coming out
games tonight that it's
immediately. These
yeah,
solo
right.
lane
Orn,
bans, I mean,
Rumble,
I
and
guess,
Vladimir.
right. So, interesting seeing what's coming out here. I feel like Riftbusters have banned 2 very different champions that both go top lane, obviously. I don't know if this is just like Solomon's like hit list. Like, I don't want to lane against Orn or Rumble, so just get rid of those. Or if there's a specific champion they're either trying to blind pick or leave in the back pocket that gets countered by these champions. I especially wouldn't expect Rumble blind pick, but the Rise comes out, which is another champion that I don't think I've seen in the champion select in Arbiter at all. I'd have to check the stats.
I mean, the Ornn and the Rumble band make a lot of sense to me because it just adds to what OSG Avalanche's comp wants to do with Adamumu and the Leona. And looks like Syndra, a very good blind pick in this meta right now, coming out from Riftbusters. So makes a lot of sense to me. It's about what we expected to see, and it's going to be answered. It is answered with the Yone actually in the mid lane. So that's going to be an exciting mid lane matchup. That's going to be a bloody one for sure.
I mean,
But
all of the lanes right now are kind of looking exciting. Now, we haven't obviously seen the top lane, but mid and bot lane look explosive from both sides of the rift. And Avalanche has the moment now to choose something that might be a little less explosive. They don't. They pick
nope.
Mordekaiser. Now, Mordekaiser's not
Yep.
the worst on the island, but that island is not going to be stable at all like an Ornn would be.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to see because we do have that Viego in the early game looking to gank that Mordekaiser. If he can get off some good ganks pre-6, it depends on what Riftbusters picks top lane here. See if they'll have that strong 2v2 in the top jungle or not, but we'll have to see. And
Oh,
it looks like it's
man.
actually gonna be Aatrox, which yeah, this is gonna be an exciting match, I feel like, just from game one. This is
Yeah, both teams.
both teams are very bloody team comp.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at, like, the typical signposts of what a draft is trying to do, early dragons, scaling. Both teams are just looking to brawl it out, from my view. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's just the meta change and I haven't kept up with it, but this is definitely different than what I've been seeing. No
I mean,
misfortune with the Amumu. The Twitch here, Tom Kinch even. Syndra, Aatrox, Viego, sure. You could definitely say a lot of things about those champions that have been omnipresent almost, but a lot of these champions are a little fresh,
Oh.
Regardless, Let's see. So the junglers have some interesting options available to them as
I do
well. Not entirely sure which lane we
Twitch
want to go
and
towards.
Syndra do scale very
'cause,
well,
I
but they're
mean,
not
you've got
exactly.
so many options, right? Ganking a Leona
Mhm.
lane is always great. Ganking a Tahm Kench lane is a little hard after 6, but before 6, you know, if you're ganking forward to Tahm Kench, it's so good. Yone definitely can fold to the pressure if he uses E incorrectly at all. So I feel like the junglers have so many options early game that it's really up
Yeah.
to them to do with the most of with what they're given, based on how they decide to play it out, and to figure out where the enemy jungler is, because they need to figure out exactly how effective the enemy jungler is going to try to be and countervent that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And yeah, I think
Regardless, I think we might be having some technical issues. I'm not sure if it's on my end or Fredo's, but since we're already at this spot anyways, I think we're
at
going to
least
go to a quick break.
pre-6, I'd give it probably to the side of a good champion early.
Wait, I'm not sure if it's me or not. I think we're gonna go to a quick break and try to figure this out, but hopefully it'll all be sorted out by game. Really excited to get onto the rift for the first playoffs game for sure.
them a light when I lit that flame. Try pulling up side by side for the race, just realize that we're in a different lane. Yeah, see I'm out here killing the game. How can you claim that we're living the same? See in reality being on a similar stage. You're sitting in the crib while I'm singing my name. That flames, whole of the city on lock. The coldest flows and the cream of the crop. We've them bees with a lean and a bomb. Got a phone line ringing to the heat don't stop. I feel like king of the hill when they're never gonna take my crown. That's the type of my sound. Better rise up when I shut this down. I feel like king of the hill when they're never gonna take my crown. That's the type of my sound. Better rise up when I shut this. My God. I feel like king of the hill when they're king of the hill. My God.
Alright, welcome back to the Rift of OSG Avalanche vs Riftbusters' first playoff game for the entire LXE, but for Arbiter especially. The rest of the leagues will get there this week or next week, depending on tiebreakers. Got a nice 5-point here. All clean. No crazy level 1s with Twitch yet. Though there's still time. Yet, yeah.
I do love to see when the Twitches start Q and then just pops out invisibility. He did start Q, so we could see it still. Could still see a little bit of a cheese in the spot lane. Possible.
But it's hard for him to go anywhere, especially that word there. I think they literally, because Twitch pinged it, so I'm pretty sure both teams now know where that word is.
Let's see. I mean, both Kaisa and Leona are sitting in that tri-brush, possibly expecting the Twitch to make a little bit of cheese into that tri-brush, but we'll have to see. It looks like Twitch sitting in his own tri-brush could possibly be looking for something. Google Mob. I believe so.
Ooh, interesting. I don't mind Raptor start whenever you're starting by yourself, but it does lead to some interesting choices for level 3 gank opportunities.
And Twitch is in his bot lane. Twitch is in his bot lane.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was hiding, now he's not.
I was hiding.
Regardless. Right. Regardless, Jungler's opposite side of the map, which is kind of exciting, but I think that Crow might do something a little spicy. That's just my senses. I mean, obviously, he can just do a full clear from after, so it's not that unique. But every time I see a minor camp start, I start thinking about the possibilities for sure. That's a level 2 Syndra that, just walking into, no problem.
Yeah, you always want to keep an eye out for those level 2 timings in the mid and top lanes, so just gets a nice stun onto the Yone there. Does not have electrocute. Syndra does have first strike this game, so not going to have quite as much burst damage off that level 2. And we are seeing some trading going on in the top lane. Hunter taking a little bit of the worst side of that.
Right, this is interesting because any trade is good for Solomon here, but he also got a good trade on top of it. Because there's a Viego coming, any trade is good whenever that's happening, but now you're just too low to be able to deal with it all. Has to flash immediately. Might not even matter, the red buff's ticking. First blood happens because he took a trade thinking a move would come over there. Actually, a move was going bot side, so I guess he just wasn't thinking about it at all.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that there. Hunter burned his flash early. Very good of Crow to hold on to that Viego stun until after the flash goes out.
Are they getting baited in? That's a good slow, but there's an Amuma here they don't know about. Twitch is here. Timo is down. Tom Kench is down. Surgeon has nowhere to go either. I don't think this turret's really going to protect him. There's too much CC. Cleanse will not help you. And Surgeon will go down. I can't believe he called Tom Kench Timo, but either way, that's 2 kills. Both junglers just cheese ganked and got away with it.
Yeah, I mean, those are the early ganks. Both junglers have very strong level 2 or level 3 ganks in this early game, and neither team really respecting the possibility of those early ganks. So definitely, both junglers off to a really good start right now.
Yeah, but they're headed on a kind of a collision course here. You can see Amuma going for Crab early, which is good for him because Viego's not even bothering to look. I guess he assumes that's down. But I'm kind of curious where Viego goes from here, because is he really going to go for top Crab after everything's said and done?
I mean, he could, but he doesn't really have a top lane. Camp's too clear. I guess his Raptors is coming up any second now, so maybe we'll be able to clear that, get his Krugs, maybe get the top crab. But on the other side of the map, maybe he'll be able to look for a gank bot lane, but he will be seen coming on that ward. So not ward, but crab, the crab. He'll be seen coming on the crab. I don't know
Yeah,
why
it's
I
interesting
can't speak
how
right
the
now.
junglers, after their level 3, went about going afterwards. Because like Amumu spent so much more time in the bot lane. They both took 3 camps, then were in lane. Amumu's gank was much later. But now Diego comes out onto the map with a bunch of items. It's pretty nice. I think he's still got some pretty good timings. I just kind of expected Amumu to grab this crab, but I guess he doesn't know that Crow has spent this time recalling.
Yeah.
So he will not be double crabbing. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
this
you
bot
would
lane, it does
assume.
not look like Twitch got killed. He's just pushing in.
Yeah. I mean, it is still Twitch Tomken, fairly strong in the early game, but on the other side, so is Kaisa Leona. So they do have to be very careful. If that Leona is able to get a catch while the wave is underneath their tower, that's going to be real spooky for the bot lane of Riftbusters. But does not look like they do have a Viego in their pocket in the spot side of the map right now, so I doubt that he'll be going for it. It looks like Viego might actually be starting this Drake. 5-minute
Leona's
Drake.
in though. So this is interesting because Viego is here, but he's kind of busy doing the dragon. He doesn't want to come down here. Tom Kinch is already chunked out. Surgeon has nowhere to go but towards the Viego. Viego is still saying, I want the dragon, leave me alone. Finally, Crow will come here. Surgeon has to flash out. It might not even matter that he spends so much time on the dragon because he gets the support. And I don't think that Zerius is getting anything out of this. So one of the dragon got a bot lane double kill instead. I think they're still going to get the dragon because Amumu went on reset after all that.
Yeah, they should still get the Drake after all that, but that was kind of a crazy fight
wait,
there.
Like on reset. Top lane's kind of fighting pretty hard. I normally don't like calling top lane fights, but this looks pretty deadly. The flash forward into the E-Hunter using that so well, but it doesn't even matter because Aatrox does not care about the. Wait, he cares. He's
that
alive?
was so close.
Okay, so both sides of the map go towards Riftbusters, so they get the dragon, they get that amazing fight bot lane that their bot lane baited the enemy team into, and then Solomon just gets a dive while Mumu's on reset, doesn't think there's anything there. Now, he probably will go down here. I don't think it matters. You'll take a 1-for-1 top lane, and the 2 kills bot lane, and the dragon any day.
Yeah, that was a crazy, just entirely a cross-map play there from the side of Riftbusters. Not only did they get that double kill bot lane, Leona had to burn her flash. I mean, everybody burned flash in that bot lane fight. I don't know. Can't really be tracking that right now. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit when Leona flashed forward onto the Twitch, but the Tom Kench being able to re-engage with his E there really was able to turn that fight around for them, it felt like. And then the Viego eventually peeling off the drag to help them. Did help come through there, finished off the Leona, and then the Kaisa just went a bit too deep trying to chase the kill on that Twitch and ended up also just going down. So maybe a little bit of greed on the side there for the side of OSG Avalanche. Maybe miscommunication. It's hard to say. Maybe they didn't think that the Viego was spot side on that trade.
I don't think there's enough CC to make this happen, but Amumu did invade for a slight amount of time. But he is able to walk away, so no big deal.
Yeah.
However, can Syndra walk away from this trade? Not really, but Yon can, because he does his trade, he ease in, and then he ease out, and, have Yon things.
I mean, Syndra got the, what's called, Scat of the Week on her E, I believe it's called. She got that, knocked him away, and it was just, after that, Yon didn't have the cooldowns to be able to close the gap onto the Syndra there. So, well played from Starry Dagger, just being able to keep the Yon off of her, and in a matchup, Syndra tends to struggle a little bit against those super mobile melee champs that can get on top of her easily, so well played from Starry Dagger to just keep Yon at bay. Not going to give him any kills so far in this early game, and Ubu might be looking for a gank here bot lane after he clears the support.
Yeah, he's freshly level 6, wants to use that ultimate, but he's on a ward. So I don't think that Tom Kinch is ever going to fall for this. Now, Tom Kinch isn't 6 yet, so there could be some weird thing. But they are literally playing it on the edge like, oh, we have no idea there's an Amumu there. No clue what could be happening here, but we're not pushing out for just some reason.
I mean, unfortunately, it is slow pushing away from them, so if Amumu is patient here, he could still get this gank off. He is not on vision at the moment, but they do have, Ghostbusters does have vision in the red
so
side.
bad. The flash forward, but he misses! And once he misses, this play is so much harder. They do get onto the Tom Kinch. That's not who you want. The ultimate on Twitch happens after all the damage is already out, though. Sojan still not able to get Tom ulted, but he's still alive and he's hitting. Crow actually goes down, but Leona's too deep now, trying to get on the Twitch they've been fighting the entire time. He will die at the end to some kind of dot, I guess. But at the end of the day, you send your Viego down and you get 2 kills for 2.
Yeah. That might have even been a 3 for 2 there in the favor of Riftbusters, because I think Novocaine went down too there, didn't he? All 3 of them went down from the side of OSG.
I'm bad
Yeah,
at
I
counting,
believe
my bad.
Novocaine, Xerxes, and Tessarian went down, and I believe Tom Kench lived. Google Mop lived at the end of that. So at the end of the day, a 3 for 2 in favor of Riftbusters. So this bot lane, like we were predicting, is definitely really bloody. And on the other side, well, not on the other side, but both carries have 3 items at this point. It's a little strange to me to see Kaisa coming back with a Kraken Slayer first instead of the Sag Shiv like we normally see, but the Twitch Surgeon is going for that Bork first that we normally see on these Twitch players, so it's not that surprising to me here. And it looks like he did go for the tier 2 boots rather than the just rushing straight for that Bork, so it is going to be a little bit later for him to finish his first item. But at this point in the game, I don't think you care that much.
Wait, this Q3 might actually hurt Syndra a lot. Doesn't want to commit too much, which is understandable, but I did see the Scout of the Week miss, and once that happens, Syndra's a little scared. Not this time, though. Looks like, actually, Yon should be the one scared, because Scout of the Week's up. Doesn't get the stun, though, so it's not going to turn into a major trade, but this is a 2v2 top lane that looks really, really scary. Mordekaiser has no ultimate. They're going to commit pretty hard, but there's no Amumu ult either. Viego not quite wanting the 1v2 for a while, but if he does, which he now does, Aatrox could just bring the pain, get that kill. What is Leona doing on this side of the map? I don't know that Twitch can, with the ultimate on Leona's just enough to get her into tower. She has to flash out, and once Leona flashes out, where does Kaisa go? Apparently in to get a 1-for-1. But Tyserion starting a fight that I'm not sure they really wanted. It ended up okay though. Wait, actually other support wants to start a fight as well. I think Leona just gets to walk away though.
Yeah. It's yet another crazy fight from this bot lane. Like we were saying, definitely a very bloody bot lane coming out from both of these teams. The Kaisa Leona versus Twitch, Tom Kench just scrapping his entire time, just honestly going back and forth. Doesn't matter if there's someone there or not.
There's no ultimate on this Aatrox. Mordekaiser actually doesn't have ult either. It's up sooner, but he doesn't need it. He just gets a kill, and that means Crow's in trouble next. Because Amumu can just walk in, and not only can he walk in, he's got mid and top coming. Matrix has to be a little careful of the Syndra ult and damage, and I think they don't want to bring Hunter whenever he just got the lane priority for himself. But, you know, Novocaine gets to get a cheeky little grub there.
Yeah, might have been a little bit greedy from the side of Solomon's Ritual. He was sitting on about 900,000 gold. He had the gold necessary to finish his Eclipse. I was watching when he died. He did go back to the base and immediately finish that Eclipse, though. A little greedy there for him to stick around, trying to dive the Mordekaiser when he still hadn't bought items after that last kill, last fight with the Viego, so
Sorry,
a little bit unfortunate.
Surgeon blocking the cannon W, which is really funny to me. I think this is a lot of damage though coming out to Matrix. Apparently so did Starry Dagger, because that was a flash in on Syndra. You almost never see a flash in onto Yon like that. But it does mean that Yon's out of the picture for now. And Dragon is available, no teleport for Matrix, and top lane is just doing top lane things again. I don't think that's going to turn into anything. But they have a small window where Syndra gets this push in. I don't think they can finish Dragon by the time that Yon answers the wave though.
No, especially not with the Mumu hovering towards the spot side already. It's going to be extremely hard for Riftbusters to be able to start this Drake, but we'll have to see. It does look like Riftbusters has the priority with that Yon into Pixel Brush, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Mumu is there in the wings, so this really is up to which team kind of pulls the trigger first, and it looks like Crow's going to go in.
Because of that previous play, however, I think Viego's just gone. Now the Tom Kench does save him, which is a big deal, but Amumu's still on the chase. So is Kaisa ulting in, they get Crow. And now, with no Viego, you have no chance to fight this. Syndra does get the wave in, so maybe she'll try to make this 3v4 happen because they've got a lot of pressure for that mid lane, but they've got to play it really well because it's so much harder without Viego. Looks like they're still going to start the Dragon on the side of OSG Avalanche. That's quite the zoning out, because now you just get to go all the way back. But I think Syndra's just going to have to accept getting the plates and losing this Dragon for now.
Yeah. I think that fight, the difference in that fight definitely came down to that Xerxes had the completed practice
WR! I think Matrix is just dead.
Yeah. That is the Syndra damage early game. Like, what else can I say? When you get hit by that stun, you hit by the full combo. It doesn't matter if you flash away if the ult's already being channeled. So, it is
And
definitely
so many
unfortunate for the
times-
mid laner of
It's so hard whenever you ask your mid laner to give up the wave. Come on, but you're just gonna get dragon. It'll be fine. Just walk back to lane afterwards. You have to walk back to lane so carefully whenever you're against Syndra, and unfortunately Matrix does not find the line, gets QE'd, and once that happens, he's dead. Even if flashed earlier.
Yeah, to my point, I think that Drake fight really the difference came down to that Xerxes had their first item done in that Kraken Slayer, and Surgeon was still sitting on components for his board. Ended up just finishing it now, but that really, it felt like he did pop the ulti. He got a good one. It was across 4 people, but it felt like it just didn't do the damage they needed to be at this stage in the game compared to the Kai'Sa with that Kraken Slayer done and the single target damage that Kai'Sa is able to put out with her passive. Auto attack.
Yeah,
so.
and it's hard as Twitch whenever your Tahm Kench support has to be saving your jungler. Can't really find a good angle. Meanwhile, support going in on a Yone, and that brings a move off the Rift Herald. So even if they don't get anything, they've already got the objective reset. And top lane, Mordekaiser's ulted does make this a 1v1 for now. Mordekaiser's ult does not last forever. Viego trying to time it, but goes on the Yone instead. The Mumu ult and the Yone ult, it just means Crow's dead again. Meanwhile, they're diving bot lane because the support isn't here, and they're winning the fight top lane. So every direction is just in Avalanche's favor suddenly, because they get the dive bot lane, and they use the numbers disadvantage even to win the fight top lane anyways.
Yeah, that was definitely
Matrix?
crazy cross map
Okay,
play. A little bit unfortunate there that Google Mop wasn't able to get in really, and honestly, that Starry Dagger was just late to that fight. Also, I think if Starry Dagger had been there just a few seconds earlier, that fight would have gone probably in favor of Rift Busters.
So Google Mop is making sure.
looking.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose both bot tower and this play, and sure, he will stop on Mumu. I believe Mumu is dead here, and they'll get this Herald. But look at this! They're getting bot inner right now at 15 minutes in, because we committed everything to the Herald. It's really scary whenever Kai'Sa gets this much gold, just because you didn't want to play both sides of the map.
Yeah, that is definitely spooky. Getting that tier 2, that is a lot of gold going over to the side of OSG. I think tier 2 in the side lane is worth like 600, 700 gold, so that is a lot of gold going over to the side of that Kai'Sa. See how much she's sitting on right now? About 2,600 gold. So that's gonna really help. Yeah, she was able to just finish her Ginsu's on that back. So
I think
that's gonna be a very strong Kai'Sa.
The important number is 1,500, and that's the difference between Twitch gold and Kai'Sa gold right now. And that's purely off of that play where, yeah, you stopped the Herald. Congratulations. Now you gotta deal with a different purple monster, the Kai'Sa.
And the crazy part to me, I'm looking at the golds now, but with all the attention that's been put on towards this top lane from the side of Rift Busters, Sullivan's Ritual is actually down like 300 gold right now. 400 gold. So, gold between the teams right now, though, almost dead even. And most of that is actually on the Syndra. Starry Dagger is 1,500 gold up onto Matrix right now. And look,
And
look
you
at this
gotta
crap going
play
on
like
top
that.
lane.
Because you can't play around this Twitch into Kai'Sa matchup. Meanwhile, Syndra, I don't think she can protect this, so Guamop will have to flash out. You know, Syndra with a gold advantage does not want to be protecting a Tahm Kench. She wants to be killing someone. So having to flash out as Tahm Kench means that gold lead is not going to good use now. But maybe they can find an engage later where she'll be able to delete someone.
Yeah, we will have to see. Kai'Sa does have to be very careful. I believe if she gets hit by Syndra Scat of the Week, she could probably get 100 to 0 at the stage of the game. With just how
Speaking of being
many
careful, I don't
items
think Crow's being
Syndra
careful
has.
enough. Has to flash out. Luckily, Aatrox is here, so just flash for flash. It's fine.
Yeah.
But that means no Viego flash for Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon spawning in less than a minute, so we're gonna have to see how these teams posture. Twitch is invis, does have that ulti up, but doesn't look like we can get quite a good angle on these two.
Wait, is Starry walking into death here? You cannot 1v2. You can maybe 1v3. No, it's just... nice gold lead. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was a very good vision play on the side of OSG right there. Just have vision
Wait,
of the
Solomon's not
Syndra
that far
going.
behind it yet. It's looking like a disaster here. I think he's just dead. The tower does not deter hunters. Flash might, however... Oh, wait, he can't auto-attack through it? So Solomon's gets to live there? It's hard to say because Delta Realm obviously looks very different from Spectator Client, but that definitely looked weird from the outside looking in.
That definitely looked a bit strange there. But you know, Solomon's ritual living through that somehow. But
I
it
mean, so
does. I will say Mordekaiser will be able to get this top lane tower after that play, and
right, it doesn't
Drake went over.
materially matter. Minus 300 gold for Mordekaiser. I think he's okay with it. Because this team
Yeah.
just got the second dragon of the game, and he's getting all the pressure
Oh,
off
no,
of his team.
Mordekaiser's up 300 gold, not down.
No, I just meant like he would have gotten 300 more gold, you know.
Okay, I got you.
Unfortunately,
Gotcha.
slight issue. Can't quite right click the Aatrox for whatever reason. That's fine. We'll be at 300 gold instead of 600. Whatever.
Yeah, no, but that is the reason we have that target champions only. Very useful.
Yeah, exactly.
Set it to a toggle, set it on something that's easy to hit. It's a great setting to have, especially for AD carries. AD carries know about it, maybe not top laners, we have to see. But how often does that come up as a top laner, honestly?
I mean, you're playing Mordekaiser. You ult someone, there are no other targets than champions usually, so I totally understand it. But this mid lane looks so hard for Twitch to deal with right now. And I'm not sure this matchup is that great for Solomon's either. It looks like he's fine. But Starry is not going to be able to bully Hunter the way that he was bullying Matrix, I assume. I mean, he's definitely getting the tower now, because Herald certainly helps.
Yeah.
But either way.
I don't know. I don't know if Starry Dagger can stick around to try and get that tower, though, unfortunately. The tower is at about 600 HP, 700 HP, and Cinder does have good wave clear. Like, we can give it to her that at this point, but so does Mordekaiser, and I feel like Syndra is in a more dangerous spot, especially with the Amumu on the top side of the map. Gonna be looking for Starry Dagger here, actually.
Yeah, just using QE is kind of scary, because now Amumu's here and you've got nothing to deal with it. Tower's still up, Tomkin is on the way. So once Amumu shows on the ward, Starry can walk away. But this matchup is not good for Syndra. They kind of need to bail her out of this. I mean, Amumu's still looking for the dive as we speak. Looks like it's gonna back off now. So I mean,
Syndra hiding
Amumu's
under
just
her
hovering.
tower.
He's just like, I don't care what angle I have to come at you with. We will kill you or the tower. It's your choice. Starry decides you can have the tower.
Yeah. Man, what can I say? They wanted that top lane tier 1 real bad, and Solomon's just
Wait, I did
losing
call
his
him.
trade
I
really
was gonna
bad.
not call it because I thought Yon was out of tricks, but he pulls out the R button, and he's dead. Solomon's just gone. So this
that R
matchup of
outplay
Syndra
button.
versus Mord, and Aatrox versus Yon has absolutely not worked out for Riftbusters.
Yeah. I think maybe they have to kind of rethink their lane assignments at this point. I guess Syndra does have the push, that range advantage against the Mordekaiser in this early game, in that side lane, but it's really hard to actually get on top of him to kill him when he's so tanky. And you don't see that same issue from the Aatrox right now, or on Yon versus Aatrox. But
And
I
I'm
guess
just continually seeing Surgeon under tower, trying to fight for his life. Now, he can wave clear fine, but the moment Novocaine just decides to ult in, I mean, not ult in, Q and then ult, Google Mop has got to be on top of it, because otherwise he is dead.
Yeah, 100%. That Twitch has to be very careful in these mid lane sieges. If he is able to get that open up with the rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh, speaking of which, Novocaine just baiting him.
Yeah.
Messing with him a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of hard to dive into Tom Kench. Tom Kench is very tanky at this point in the game. He does have that Warmog stun and his Celestial opposition. So it's not going to be the easiest for that Amumu to actually get on top of and kill that Tom Kench, especially underneath his own tower. But it's still going to spook him a little bit. It's going to make him a lot more nervous about going into this. And it looks like Hunter's actually looking for a little bit of maybe another rotation play onto the Starry Dagger. It looks like Starry Dagger is going into the safer lane this time to get back to his lane.
I don't think Surgeon's having a good time, but he's actually kind of stable here. You know, the side lanes have gone crazy. There's been kills everywhere, but Surgeon's just been farming mid for like the past 5-10 minutes, it feels like. And that Tom Kitch is all the security he needs, apparently.
I mean, Twitch does scale extremely well, so if he's able to get that farm, get those items, it could be a good thing on the side of Riftbusters. Like I mentioned, Twitch scales really well, Syndra scales really well as well. So they do have a good amount of scaling on their side, and Aatrox is no slouch in that side lane as well. But it's gonna have to see, because it looks like OSG is actually setting up for this Drake. They're sending 4 people bot side, just leaving the Mordekaiser top, and it looks like Riftbusters is a little slow to respond to this right now. And
it's so hard to get your Twitch to a space that he can do anything. Now, Leona has used a lot, so Twitch has a good opportunity, but he just can't quite do anything, so Google's just kind of slow dying, and everyone's watching him. Also, he's just walking over Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser did not look, luckily, so he's okay for now. I think the invisibility It did not show him, but that looked very interesting. But that just means that you're contesting a dragon you can't get. Google Mop, unfortunately, has to flash out. Still dies. And they're still giving over soul point.
Yeah, that's yeah, that Mordekaiser TP honestly did a whole lot in that fight. Just being able to keep Surgeon out of the fight completely while they picked off Google Mop. Like, I guess what are you gonna do if Tom Kench is gonna save anyone on our team? What do? I guess you take out the Tom Kench instead. Can't eat himself, unfortunately. So
yeah,
I
and
guess
Surgeon has got to be really creative. Here he's actually just under tower. He does have an option tools to get out. It doesn't matter though, they're going between towers. And unfortunately, whenever Tom Kench isn't there, he's got no opportunity, even with Flash and Cleanse, to get away from this. And that is definitely going to be the point where I say this is a firm advantage for OSG Avalanche. You know, they've been building up slightly, but now I just feel like Riftbusters don't have that many avenues back to into this game other than playing for scaling.
yeah. The only thing that they can hope for right now really is get that Twitch to 3 to 4 items, maybe even 5 before they can really fight. Even then, Kaiser's no slouch when it comes to scaling, and you saw what happened there when Novacan was able to get on top of the Twitch there with his Q and the ultimate. And it's going to be a really hard game for Surgeon to come back from and try to carry his team on this one. You do have Solomon's Ritual, like I said, no slouch in the top lane, but he's still in the side lane, but he's still 700 gold down on this Mordekaiser right now. Syndra,
he's still matching the
gold lead just closed. Yeah, and Syndra, the gold lead is closed.
Right, and he's still matching the Yon, and Syndra's still matching the Mordekaiser. Finally, they send the duo instead. But this matchup has not looked good for either of them.
No,
they need to find out how to pressure it so that way Syndra's not matching the Mordekaiser. It just doesn't work. But Leon's a little deep here. They do want to go for it a little bit. Not getting the knockup is pretty big, however, and Xerxes has a lot of damage to protect. So they will back off. You really want that pick whenever you're this far behind, but, you know, usually whenever it's too good to be true, it's not true.
Yeah, even if it did hit, I don't know. I don't think Riftbusters would actually be able to kill the Leona in time. And her entire team was there. Like, they had 3 people backing up that Leona, so even if they did, I'm not sure that the fight would have gone in the favor of Riftbusters. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that they missed their skill shots on the Leona there.
Yep, and what do I see right now? I see Starry Dagger top lane, Solomon Rituals bot lane, Yon and Mordekaiser matching exactly who they want to. And then there's something to be said about being able to bully your way into the lane assignments you want. And I don't think Starry's like in any danger here anymore once he's matching at that inner tower. But Solomon's is really shut down by this Yon.
Yeah. That's the issue right now. If you look at the gold difference between actually Solomon and Matrix, there's a 2,000 gold difference between the two. Yon has 2 items done.
I think Crow's actually kind of caught. The ultimate goes wide. It doesn't really matter. Flash out from Crow, so he'll be okay for now. Well, for now, Solomon's will protect as well as bodyguard. Twitch is in really good position, but there's only 2 tanks in front of him. He doesn't want to shoot on 2 tanks, so he's gonna walk away. Looks like Starry's back in to get maybe a TP angle. I don't know. Both teams are looking to maybe engage. Yonels is really good. Amumu's also looking. Doesn't quite hit. Look for Novakane's ult. It's going to be pretty big here. Twitch is pretty safe right now, but he can't hit anyone. Now Novakane goes in, gets a lot of people. Twitch is only hitting people who don't care. Novakane is not dying. Crow will go down. Starry didn't even find a TP angle, and now Twitch will go down. Actually gets the Amumu finally. Maybe can get someone else before he goes down, but Syndra's down now. Yes, you got the Kaisa, but you're gonna die. And Mordekaiser wasn't even involved in the— oh, Leona, you are alone. Leona ult came up, so maybe it's not the worst fight, but Sergeant gets gifted one, I suppose. Hunter even flashes. So the end of it kind of turned awkward, but Matrix is still on your bot inhib tower.
Yeah. And that was, Surgeon. You do not want to walk up to Yon with that much health. Call me crazy, but that's not a 1v1 that you'll win at that amount of health. But on the bright side for Riftbusters, Surgeon did get a couple of kills there, got a really big shutdown onto that Kaisa, and looks like he does finish that IE. So this is how strong you want your Twitch to be at this point in the game. He's got his 3 items done, and this is when you really want to be looking for that Drake fight, for that soul fight, for the side of Riftbusters.
But you better be
soul spawning in a minute.
Yeah, 40 seconds? That's soul spawning. You're not outscaling that. And your bot inhib is now exposed, so if you lose this fight, you probably lose the game. Surgeon has got to find an insane angle, but if he does have the momentum to definitely capitalize. I mean, he's just got to deal with an Amumu and a Leona. That's so difficult. And then even if he gets through all of that, Mordekaiser just ults him.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Maybe Twitch will get a godlike ultimate, I think, and
Aatrox
Aatrox
teleporting
TP
early, I
actually
like
coming
this.
in early.
Yeah, but Starry's kind of on the wrong direction. It's just gonna get flashed on. They'll use everything on Starry because once Starry's down, Kesa has no threat. Now Twitch is gonna look for something, but look at Leona. He can only hit Leona. Meanwhile, the other side of the fight, Crow goes down and Google goes down. Yes, you burst down Leona, but that's just Leona. Finally, Tyrion doesn't even go down before his team catches up and kills the Twitch. Then the Aatrox. Objective bounties are available, but I think the game is as good as done. They're gonna go for Soul instead. Make it safe, make it steady. So Yon will just get the inhib while they pick up Soul. But really, there's just so many paths to end this game at this point.
Yeah, that was just a clean ace from the side of OSG there. And like you mentioned, they will get the Soul there. And unfortunately, Starry Dagger just gets caught out there by that Amumu Q. And there's just so much CC from the side of OSG Avalanche that once you get hit by any skill shot, you just get destroyed. There's unfortunately nothing you can do. You can chain CC, probably 4 or 5 seconds of CC right there onto the Syndra, which is
so they
unfortunate.
do get Soul. They don't decide to push bot lane without the minions, so they only get inhib towers. Both inhibs are up. If you can get Twitch at the right angle, and like flash Leona ult or cleanse.
Yeah, big thing in that fight.
And then win a fight, then your structures aren't completely exposed, so you don't have to worry as much about Mordekaiser or Yon split push. So they're still technically alive in this game.
Yeah.
But Infernal Soul, I mean, I have not seen many games where Kaisa gets Infernal Soul and then loses.
Yeah.
And now there's
a big thing into that fight too is that Surgeon never actually got to burn his Twitch ultimate. Yeah, I mean,
Baron's
down. Yeah, Baron's gone.
He's just gone. And now Tonka just a W out. He will eventually get out. I guess it's fine for Riftbusters, because, you know, you already were losing the fights. You might as well lose the Baron too. Just try to pick up what you can while they have that, but wow. Really scary map to play on.
Definitely a scary map. That Kaisa very fed at this point with that 11 kills, 4 items done right now with the Gnasher's Tooth and the Rune Ends coming out as the 3rd and 4th. And if we just peek at the gold leads, about 8,000.
Okay, this is a bit aggressive because there is a Tom Kinch there. Tom Kinch will get eaten. They get Yon out. Now Yon can just Eve away, so I don't think he's overcommitted. But
I mean, ult for ult, but on the side of OSG, I'd be much happier with getting the Yone ult and trading that for Tom Kench ult at this stage in the game. That is really the only thing that can save the backline of Riftbusters if they ever get hit by those CCs, by that Amumu Q, by the Amumu ult. So it's definitely going to be spooky. Amumu doesn't have flash. I was going to say, we might be seeing a flash Q onto the Twitch in this moment, but I don't think so.
There are no structures, so it is just Twitch out here fighting for his life, weaving for his team because he's got a bunch of melees and a Syndra. He wants to use those skill shots on champions, so it's just really awkward. And Solomon, speaking of awkward, is now going to get dove. Now, Yon does not have ultimate and messes up the E a little bit. I think Viego's got this. If this reset happens, Viego is going to be a monster. But they can't kill him! Instead, Crow will go down. Solomon will finally shut down the Yon. There's no one to possess the body, though. And the rest of the team is here. Leona's even behind the tower trying to flank. Now, Kaisa's zoning off Twitch, so it's some kind of weird 4v4. I think they're going to end up winning this fight on the side of Riftbusters. Maybe they knock away the Leona. That's pretty good. But Kaisa killed Twitch and is now just trying to end the game. Novocaine has joined his teammate at the enemy base. So the flash in will get stopped by Novocaine trying to end the game. It's a little messy, but if it works, it works. I think Zarius can't end. Will instead ult onto the Tom Kench. Instead, try to burst the Syndra before Syndra can burst her. And if there's no one alive, then Kaisa can definitely end the game. And OSG Avalanche will bring us to 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, that was kind of a quick ending there. I was gonna call. I think that I was gonna call it that. I thought Xerxes could end the game there, but not quite what I was expecting to end there. I was not expecting. I was not expecting Starry Dagger to get that many kills early, but then in that 1v1 in the inside Riftbusters base, just absolutely massive there, picking off Surgeon and just making sure that Kaisa was able to get in there, get those kills, and just clear out the lane, really. Clear out the entire base. You can always just, like you mentioned, you can just burst down the Syndra if she tries to burst you. So what's the problem?
Starry Dagger was just effectively shut down by having to match the Mordekaiser the entire time. And I don't even think
Mhm.
Solomon was having that much trouble with the Mordekaiser. Just the way that the timers ran out, or the way that the lanes had to be for whatever reason, Starry Dagger could not influence the map as much as you would think with that gold lead. And once Syndra doesn't have that insane pressure, Viego was not going to be able to do anything from that state that he was in. You know, he spent all his time getting Syndra ahead. And
Yep.
Serjan, yes, you've got Tahm Kench protection. That might work for a Jinx. For a Twitch, he's kind of got to blow his load. After that, you know, you ult him out, sure, but then his threat is gone.
Yeah, I think and it looks like Riftbusters will be taking blue side for this game too. So we will be swapping sides for this game. So we'll have to see if that makes a difference in drafting or in game. But for now, I think the biggest thing in that game is that in those team fights, Twitch never really got an angle to get his ulti out. Like he always had the Leona on top of him, and even if he popped his ulti, he wasn't going to be able to really get in there and use that AoE that ulti brings. So it's a little bit awkward spot for the Twitch to be in there. So Twitch did get a lot of kills early game, so maybe we'll be seeing it again, but I don't think so. Maybe we'll be seeing that first pick Kaisa for the side of Riftbusters this game. But we'll have to see once we get into draft. For now, the players are getting into the lobby, getting in order. We're still waiting on a couple of people, I believe. I count 9 people? 8?
If
8.
if we're gonna see the Twitch again, it has to be with the rest of the champions we saw just gone, right? Maybe later in the draft you can pick Twitch, but picking it so early led to this pick of, you know, Yone arguably, but also just Leona, Mordekaiser, and a Mumu. Like, what is Twitch going to do? Even the best Twitch in the world is not gonna have a good time there.
Yeah.
So, it's just an unfortunate, like, yes, you bring out a cool pick that nobody knows how to play against, except everyone remembers Twitch does not like CC. What's the easiest CC champions we can think of?
I mean, Leona's definitely one of them. And I'm going to say Mumu's probably the other one that I would think of. So,
Exactly. And then Mordekaiser's like on the top, like, you know what, even if he gets through all that, he's gonna be stuck in the pit.
yeah. And yeah, just Leona there zoning off the Twitch, making sure he couldn't have an impact in these team fights. If Twitch is able to get those free auto attacks off like he wants to, those rune and bolts can do quite a bit of damage. Can really shred the enemy team if Twitch is able to get those free auto attacks. But the Leona on top of him just kind of just stops him from doing whatever he wants. Stops him doing what he wants to in these team fights. So I think maybe if the Leona isn't on the table, they can pick the Twitch again. But honestly, I'm not expecting to see it in this game too. I don't think we'll be seeing it again.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of picks that OSG got were just like the meta-defining picks right now. Amumu, Leona, Kaisa. You've usually seen Amumu with Misfortune, but if you have the Yone Kaisa, it kind of does the same thing, right? Amumu ults and then everyone's just dead wherever they're standing. So some of that has to be broken up. You have to imagine now with Riftbusters going to blue side. That changes everything, you know. You can't get all of the power picks on blue side, or on red side rather. And you get a little bit more maneuverability towards those overpowered picks. And then additionally, if you pick something that maybe Tahm Kench works a little bit better with, I mean, Tahm Kench Twitch is fine, I think, but you do something that really gets eaten and then safe and then re-engages the fight. You know, maybe that works a little bit better, especially since Serjan did fine in lane. There was definitely an Amumu gank that made it difficult at first, but even despite the cheese Amumu level 3 gank that ended up with 3 kills, or 2 kills, sorry, for Sarian and the 80 carry of OSG, they did fine in lane. You put that on a different scaler that has a little bit easier of a time into those things like Leona and Amumu, maybe you've got yourself a winning combination.
Yeah, well, we shall have to see. I believe the 80 carry for the side of OSG is actually at the bathroom right now, so we're waiting a few minutes for this. But somebody mentioned in chat classic Twitch Lulu. I'm not sure Google Mop is really a Lulu player. I've seen him more on those engaged supports, not really the enchanters. So I don't think we'll be seeing that Twitch Lulu. And I thought draft was starting for a second. It is not. We are still here. But yeah, I'm not expecting to see the Twitch come out this game personally, but I could be wrong. Definitely could be wrong. It does look like draft is starting now, so we're gonna have to see what Riftbusters wants to do in this game. See what he wants me, or not me. See what they want to do differently in this draft. Like I said, I don't think the Twitch is the pick. That's just me, but we'll have to see. And we'll see. Do you think they're gonna change up any bans? Looks like your first ban for Riftbusters is gonna be the same, keeping out that Asol. I've heard the mid laner for OSG Avalanche is a nasty Asol player, so that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And
I think that it is. I mean, maybe you change out. I mean, Avalanche has no reason to change any bans, right? Keep
yeah,
Starry off of the things that apparently Starry is really good at, like the Rise I mentioned before, the Katarina clearly.
yeah.
But Riftbusters have already changed something. They banned the Amumu, not only to pick it themselves. I mean, they banned jungles before, so switching it
Mm-hmm.
to the Amumu makes sense. You know, leave open the Sejuani, fine. Or no, Sejuani's also
Johnny
gone
got banned.
actually. Leave open the
Leave up the
Lilia
Lilia.
actually.
Yeah,
Now
let's see.
Lilia, Twitch would be much more fun to play into Lilia than Amumu. I can tell you that much. So
Yeah,
you might see something similar, but I'm not sure what Riftbusters is willing to blind pick because you're certainly not picking that Twitch.
definitely not. You're definitely not blind picking Twitch after that last game. We'll have to see. And that's what I was going to mention was actually the Lilia. They're leaving the Lilia ban open, so they're taking the Lilia for themselves. Actually, a very strong jungler in this meta right now. So not at all surprising to see that Lilia come out. Obviously, they were afraid of OSG Avalanche, maybe potentially first picking it last game. So I understand, just pick it themselves. Make sure Avalanche can't take it. But on the side of Avalanche, they're just taking that Kai'Sa again. Felt
If
like a
it
comfort
ain't broke,
champion for
don't
Xerxes.
fix it. But the
Exactly.
game might look different for Serjan and Google Mop. Should that gank not come out, or should the gank go slightly poorly? I'm wondering if Avalanche can pick this Kai'Sa and really run it back the exact same way. They're running it back exactly the same way with the Kai'Sa Yone. Now you can't pick the Amumu. Obviously, there's plenty of junglers that do a very similar job as the Amumu available, like the
Yeah.
Wukong.
I'd like to see
But
maybe a
they're just going to
J4.
the same comp.
J4 fits very similar styles, and actually Action
Okay.
can pick by Riftbusters here.
This
So
mid
that's
laner, Starry, has quite the pool. Because
yeah.
Rise, Katarina, Syndra, and Akshan are what we have seen so far.
And yeah. I'm a big fan of the Action, so we'll have to see how that one goes. Action versus Yon, I'm be honest, I'm not super familiar with that matchup, but Action does have the range advantage, and on
Is
the
anyone
Syndra,
is anyone familiar with that matchup at all?
I don't think so. I
Um,
don't think so.
Now the Jin I kind of like because it's similar to Twitch in that it wants to set up, but it can do that from a lot further away.
Yeah.
And it brings in some nice laning burst. The Ornn does go through, however, they're picking it first rather than waiting for second bans where it was banned last time. And I think that Solomon probably is a little unhappy about this, right? Imagine having counterpick, but you have to counterpick Ornn, and you've already got Akshan, Jin, Lilia for your picks.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a bit of a unfortunate situation for is it Solomon. He's kind of picking England, right? Yeah, Solomon's on blue side, top laner for Riftbusters, but we'll have to see. And the Leon is actually getting banned from the side of Riftbusters, so that makes a lot of sense here. OSG hasn't picked their support yet. You want a strong engaged support with that Kai'Sa, so getting the Leona out of there, I believe, is a great ban from Riftbusters. To the side of OSG Avalanche. You don't want that Leona Kai'Sa in the lane again. So I'm curious to see what Avalanche is going to ban. And it looks like Senna is actually going to be banned from the side of Avalanche. And I mean, Senna's very strong right now. So it's not that surprising to see the ban come out, but I'm not sure if Mop is really a big Senna player. But we'll have to see on this one because I do believe Avalanche will be picking up a support here, leaving that top lane or I guess jungle counterpick. I don't even know. Which do you prefer having counterpick, top lane or jungle or support? Traditionally, you don't care
I
about either of them.
think you pick support here and you leave your jungle to the end, but both are really viable. Picking Ivern here is interesting.
Okay.
I do like it for the team comp. I would have liked to hide it till 5th pick, to be perfectly honest, but maybe they got a really spicy support pick as well. And it could be a spicy Ivern support pick. I think that's a
It
little
could be.
outdated nowadays. But Ivern's nice. He's definitely what I would like to pick for this comp.
Yeah. I mean, I played against Ivern Caitlyn bot lane. That's it's an interesting one. Ivern makes brushes, and Caitlyn gets those auto attack extra brushes to get those auto attack, the extra auto attacks for her passive. But looks like Riftbusters going down to the last minute. Let's see if we
We'll
get
get
a
confirmation on
confirmation
what
of
that
what
is
that
in a
pick is
second.
supposed to be. Yeah. And it looks like
Now,
Garen might be getting hovered. It is Garen for that last one, so it is what they're hovering now. So we're gonna have to see what the last pick is from the side of Riftbusters. You would think
okay,
it's a support here.
Garen into Ornn is such an interesting matchup. I just haven't seen it. I just imagine that Garen players do not want to play into Ornn ever.
I mean, Garen's a lane bully. Like he can bully out almost any top laner, especially other melees, and that is a Maokai support, which I think pairs great with the Jhin. You get that point and click route from the Jhin or from the Maokai. It really sets up the Jhin's to get that route out. So I'm a big fan of the Maokai here. I was gonna say with that Garen top lane, yeah, Garen Maokai are the last two. Just got confirmation of that, but. I do really like the Maokai support in combination or paired with the Jhin here. And it's
Oh
actually
my
gonna
god,
be a Lulu.
Avalanche is gonna be the Lulu. Lulu Kaisa is one of those interesting metas where like I feel like the times that Lulu has been good has never intersected with whenever Kaisa's been good, and then they just haven't really, worked well together regardless. But here we are, I guess.
Mhm. So we'll have to see. This is definitely less aggressive of a bot lane from the side of OSG Avalanche with the Kaisa Lulu, but you're into a Jhin Maokai. So I believe Jhin Maokai will be able to get the advantage in those shorter trades, those long range CC trades. But if Kaisa Lulu gets a chance, they can chase them down. And in those extended trades, Kaisa's going to do a lot more damage than the Jhin. So we're going to have to keep our eye on this bot lane, see what happens here.
Okay, but
Action versus Yone going to be a very
yeah, can
bloody
we circle
matchup.
back to the Akshan? Because what the heck is that Akshan versus Yone? I feel like this is one of those matchups you see in solo queue, maybe. But we're here in playoffs, and the teams have elected to bring these champions that, you really need to pop off on to be notable. And they can't both pop off. I mean, at least they can, but the matchup's going to be explosive for sure.
Oh, yeah. And like Soulkeeper's mentioning in chat, they do have Ivern and Lulu, so it is a big shield comp for that Kaisa. But if you're going to be doing a kind of protect the president comp, Kaisa's not generally the AD carry that I think of when I think of that. I think of more of the Kog'Maw, the Vayne, potentially Twitch, but we saw what happened with the Twitch last game.
Can
But
I interest
we'll have to
you in
see.
a Yone? Because honestly, Yone with shields is pretty good. Now Lulu doesn't have the best time keeping up with the Yone, obviously. He's Eing in, Ring in, Yolo's like, what the hell are you doing down there, buddy? But if the fight works out just so, and you get the Yone ultimate into the Lulu ultimate, Kaisa comes in, Ivern shields everyone, Daisy's there. I mean, Yone isn't a traditional AD carry, but he can do a pretty damn good job of taking those
Yeah.
shields.
I mean, he's a melee AD carry. It's like Tryndamere back in the day. Why did Solomon's Ritual lock in Leona? Something went wrong.
I think they meant to ban it because they accidentally
Yep,
banned
yep.
the wrong thing. So we're just
Remaking the
gonna get a
lobby.
quick reset. We got a little bit more time to talk about this.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean, I
my
know
gosh,
it's Red
it's so
J.
funny.
I'm not sure who they're talking about, but I do believe he's talking about Avalanche's comp. Definitely seems like a bit of a harder comp to see, a harder comp to execute, I believe, just because you have to have those shields on Lulu. You got to have the shields from Ivern onto that Kaisa. So it's definitely a little bit harder to execute, but
Well,
like
I
we're
mean,
mentioning, the Yone is a melee AD carry, kind of like the
sure.
Tryndamere or the Yasuo.
Mechanically, Kaisa and Yone are very difficult. Ivern, Ornn, and Lulu, no, not really. But I think what also is put into key is that you're talking about the other side of the coin. I mean, the champions may not be that difficult, Akshan, Jhin, Maokai, Lilia, Garen, but they don't work together well. So the difficulty there is playing them correctly, where you've got this Garen side leaning into Ornn. Can't really pull up the pressure if Ornn isn't called out elsewhere. And you've got no disengage. I mean, you've got Maokai disengage, I suppose, but you've got this weird place where you're trying to start a fight with Lilia, Jhin, Maokai, but your Garen's gonna run in later. It doesn't really work. So I
Yeah.
think the issue is Riftbusters have to draw a fine line where they get their Garen ahead and force the engages where they want them after drawing Ornn out, or I mean, it just seems like a very difficult comp to play in terms of just like not the pieces you're using, but the overall whole.
I mean, it's hard to say because Riftbusters looks very much like a traditional pick comp to me. You got Lily coming in with the sleep. You got Jin coming in with his W from super long range, and Maokai has point and click CC to set up for that Jin W as well. So Riftbuster seems like a very traditional pick comp to me, and OSG Avalanche is a bit more of a protect the president. And protect the president definitely takes a bit more coordination and team communication to really make work. You have that Ivern there with the shields, and you got Lulu all shielding the Kaisa.
Especially if you're presidents trying to get in the middle of all 5 of them.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I believe OSG Avalanche's comp is a bit more difficult to pilot, but we'll have to see because we're still locking in the champions. They had to remake the lobby there. Solomon's Ritual did pick the Garen this time. He didn't pick the Leona.
We did it. We successfully picked our champions.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see how the early game will go because yeah, I can see the 10 person like late game ARAM kind of thing, split push, whatever. The lanes seem kind of hard for Avalanche.
Yeah, the lanes definitely are a bit hard. Kaisa Lulu is not exactly the strong lane bully bot lane that you had with the Kaisa Leona last game. Ivern's a bit. I actually don't know how quickly Ivern jungles. I feel like Lilia would clear faster than him, but who knows? Ivern's a tree. He's at home in the forest, so not sure what's going to happen with that one there. But
He's got a similar
really,
pattern to Mumu, where you could show up level 3 and win a fight bot lane early, but he doesn't quite have the same ability to just kind of, I don't know, keep doing that in the late game, especially. Late game, he needs his lanes to be ahead, and he doesn't bring that consistent CC that a Mumu does. So it'd be interesting to see if Avalanche go for that aggressive gank pattern early, even with Ivern.
Yeah, we shall have to see. I mean, at least with Ivern, he's got good gank setup between the Yone and that Ornn. So if they're able to land any bit of CC, Ivern will be able to follow up with that skill shot route. So I do believe in the top and mid, he does have good gank assist and gank setup. I just worry about the bot lane there. Kaisa Lulu, not exactly what you want to be looking for when you're coming in for a gank. But then on the other side, if Pro's ever going to be wanting to gank bot lane, the Jhin Maokai is incredible gank setup and gank assist. So I do believe Lilia will be focusing more on the bot side of the map this game, but I do believe Ivern should be putting more of his focus towards the top and mid. And I do believe
thank you for that extended analysis, because the teams have finally locked everything in. We're finally ready to go to a quick break. But then we'll be going into game 2. Remember, this is a best of 5, so this will not be the last game regardless of how it turns out. So join us soon for the second game.
I'm so tired, got me weak when I wake up. On a weekend when I'm not missed out. What a shame you only know my name.
Welcome back to the Rift, where Rift Busters are trying to come back in this series. They're currently 0-1 versus OSG Avalanche, but they've got some spicy picks. Starry Dagger's pool continues to grow with some interesting ones. So we've got Oxlon here. No level 1 Twitch shenanigans, and in fact no shenanigans at all, I think. Teams are pretty happy to just 5-point wait. Hunter, find Solomon, first blood. In terms of damage, no gold.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Hunter had first strike. We don't know. But actually, we do know it's grass. It is not first strike. But you never know.
Gotta stay there a little bit longer for grasp. No health exchange there.
Yeah. But one thing I pointed out while we were loading into this game is that Star Dagger actually has Ignite. So that's going to be an interesting matchup for that Acton. Probably going to be looking for those solo kills.
Counterpoint. Matrix has Doran Shield.
Yeah.
Classic Doran Shield mid laners. Oh, I love that. I mean, it's obviously like the right pick against Akshan. Just what a silly little item, you know?
Oh yeah, scumbag mid laners taking Doran Shield into the correct matchups to take Doran Shield.
Right.
Taking
Okay,
the
so
correct item to a ranged matchup.
So Iron clears are always interesting. Starting with the minor camp here, but you're not actually gonna finish the minor camp. You don't smite till the very end of your clear, basically. Gonna go around. This does usually mean that he's gonna end up towards the bot side, I believe, at the end of the day. I mean, it depends. Every Iron's different, right?
Yeah.
But Lilia's starting on the minor camp again. Now this time, last time Crow did go for the level 3 gank off of that minor camp start. So this might be a level 3 gank bot lane this time for Crow.
It definitely could be. And like I was mentioning, that Jin Maokai is a very strong in terms of gank assistant gank
and that
setup.
ward?
So
Not in the bush.
yeah. Definitely unfortunate. It still will spot out the Lilia if she decides to go for a lane gank into the bot lane, but it is unfortunate, not in the bush here. And it looks like OSG's bot lane does get level 2 first, but unfortunately it doesn't look like they're really able to get too much off of it. It is a little bit of a trade there. Ooh. Orange slapping
well, it's
around.
that awkward moment where yes, there's a ranged matchup, but now you're playing into the level 3 gank. Now, Crow did this weird pathing thing where he moved from his golem, said, I'm not gonna gank bot lane, it doesn't look real. It looks a lot more real now, so it's a little late on tempo, but Maokai is engaged really early. Exhaust comes out also really early. Syrian will be fine now. There's a Lily here, though. Xerxes has all summoners. It's exhausted. Has cleanse available, doesn't use it, decides to just die. They will give both kills over to Jin, and Crow once again gets a level 3 gank that goes really well. I think Iron's about to match mid lane, though, and that would be pretty explosive as well. You can see him behind Akshan. Starry is not aware yet. Now he gets the bad news. Red buff taking on him. But he's Akshan, so he just, you know, does his little arrow dash thing away.
Yeah, it's like hookshot from Camille. You worry that there's going to be a jungler coming, like, no thanks, I'm just going to dash away. Alright, not a big deal. But yeah, a lot of excitement happening there. Double kill over to the Surgeon's Jin, and that's exactly what you want from this Jin.
Yeah. It means that Novakin gets a little bit extra tempo in the jungle, but right now he's an Ivern with no items, kind of just on the map. He hasn't even gotten his golems yet because they kind of suck for Ivern. Matrix also kind of getting destroyed a little bit in lane here. He has the teleport advantage, so it's okay to lose this health advantage right now. But Akshan does not look like the one that he got ganked early.
No, yeah, Akshan is not. I mean, he didn't have to burn Flash. I was going to say he didn't have to burn his Ignite, but I don't know the times when you're getting ganked and you burn Ignite. But I guess maybe if the enemy team's mid laner is low, you're like, I'll ignite you, I'll get the kill.
Oh, this is a 2-kill Jin that you're engaging onto, Syrian. That's a Maokai that can dash onto you. Syrian does have the flash because he didn't use it before, but Maokai also has the flash. So that's another kill. Yes, Google will go down, but this means Kai'Sa's kind of further engaged. Even if Kai'Sa lives here, the wave's in such an awkward spot. I don't even think he lives there. Cleanse will not prevent the damage. Why are we going top lane direct to camera? I swear, it looks like Kai'Sa was able to flash out. Crow is just going to make sure this top lane is stabilized, and bot lane is so hard for Xerxes to play.
Yeah, that is a very strong.
Is it stabilized? Ornn thinks there's so many minions he doesn't care. The shield comes in, the flash comes out. It looks like Ornn will be happy to take this freeze. So Lilia coming up meant that Garen had the flash, and Ornn is in a beautiful lane state now.
It's a little bit awkward to be ganked for Novocaine because Kai'Sa is so low. Like, if they actually get on top of that Jin, if Kai'Sa ever gets in range, Kai'Sa could just die in an auto attack and a Q from the Jin.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those ganks where it's like, I'm here, buddy. We will 3-lane this for now. That lane is
Yeah.
getting in, but they don't actually support the wave, and Maokai's kind of healthy. Surgeon decides not to take the freeze because he's a little too low to really stay if they decided to push the issue. But they get out of it with an even lane state, and that's even more tempo by Novocaine for no material results yet.
Mhm. And looks like, okay, Starry Dagger does hit 6 before Matrix, so we might be seeing something that both supports roaming up towards mid lane, though. So we shall see, and I mean, it looks like Tessarian is just going back bot lane now, gonna go back to supporting his AD carry, and
Oh, that's
Hunter
a
is
level
actually
6
turning Ornn off.
Ornn. Garen can still run away pretty fast, though. But the flash is enough to catch up with the Fire Breath. Just barely in range for the full W, and that's the dividends paying off of Garen having the flash earlier. And that was after Crow showed up. So this top lane is now really in trouble because you do not want your Garen to get solo killed by an Ornn.
No, Ornn scales a lot better than Garen does, and just getting that solo kill, I would say Ornn does a lot of damage, a lot more damage than you expect in that top lane matchup. But for how well he scales, Ornn's laning is surprisingly strong.
Absolutely. And this is the kind of concern of picking something like Garen into it. I'm not sure it's going to be able to punish that well. Maybe this is something I missed because I wasn't that big into Adam days of Garen top all the time every day. I just don't think that Ornn is the one you want to answer it with.
If I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Garen top fell out of the meta in like competitive / pro play before Ornn was even released.
Wait, actually, I think Ivan's just dead here, by the way. Google were able to get a really nice knockback, and Sarian doesn't have flash, so they can even just kill him under tower. This is definitely a lot of pressure on the objectives, but more so it's just lethal pressure because if Jhin gets even further ahead at this point, your Ornn being ahead might not matter.
And we'll have to see, because Ornn will be able to get that split push, and I don't think that Solomon's Ritual is going to be able to get the winning end of this trade against Hunter right now, with the Tommy Cinder and Cloth Armor versus a couple of Longswords from Garen. I don't think that Garen will be able to take that trade, but on the side of Riftbusters, they are getting that first strike rate at 7.5 minutes, fairly early.
Yeah, and I got news for you. Level 5 Iron is not taking grubs anytime soon. He kind of needs Daisy to be able to take it quickly. He can do it, technically, but if anyone ever decides to check on him, they're like, hey, what's going on over here? Iron's just hitting him. It's not working.
Yeah.
Looks like he is going to go into the pit. And I'm just curious how this is going to go. I mean, maybe some other Irons have figured out more than I have. He just has to take the crab and walk away, because he is not doing that without Daisy.
No,
Wait,
definitely
actually, I
not.
think Lulu's being a little aggressive. That Jhin is level 6. Doesn't look like they're going to land the CC, though, so Sarion will be okay. I feel
Bro
like he's
is on
also...
the bot side of the map right now, though. That's the big thing right now.
And that's the 4th shot.
And-
Get shielded, it's fine.
Yeah. But I think I mentioned this before game, but right now, Crow playing really well around his really strong bot lane right now with that Jhin Ornn, and it looks like Novocaine is actually coming bot lane, but I don't think Novocaine will be able to do too much against this 4-0 Jhin right now.
He is just
And
trying to
Crazy going
stabilize the
top
wound. Like, they are bleeding out. He is trying to get cloth on that wound as much as possible. They're not trying to kill anyone. They just want to make sure this cannon dies with Kaisa in range to get it. Because right now, Jhin has the... I mean, if Jhin guaranteed hit every R button, they're dead. So every moment that they're in this lane is a blessing. They are going to force it now because Soljan is in an awkward spot with the wave. But even then, you use Daisy and all you get... Wait, actually, knockup's pretty good. Kaisa ults in. But now you're ulting into a... Jhin is really strong. I mean, Daisy is going to block him for quite a while. Maokai's still looking to get back in. The barrier out. They do eventually get the Maokai. So it looks like because Serjan and Google Mop thought they could outplay it, they do eventually get the kill. But that was purely because Serjan and Google Mop thought they could outplay it.
Yeah. That was a little bit crazy there, and still slap fights going on top lane. That Ornn is doing a lot of damage to Solomon's Ritual under his own tower, I might add. So,
right, but at the end of the day, yes, you get this wave in, you stabilize the wound of Xerxes. Jhin didn't die, so it's not necessarily as good as you would want it to be, especially since Ivern spent so much tempo down there. I mean, Lily's up here and has infinite time to get grubs if she wants, because Lilia takes grubs super quickly. But they do stabilize it a little bit, and that's really all you need for Xerxes to get back into this game. It's just a little bit of stabilization. I'm just not sure if it'll be enough. Meanwhile, mid lane, Starry Dagger going in, Matrix has to get out. And that means the Grubs are absolutely going to Crow.
Yeah, definitely Crow getting the grubs. Unfortunately, because they're taking it so late in the game, I don't think they'll be able to get 6 grubs. I think it'll only be 3 going over to the side of Riftbusters. But still, that will help your Rift, your Jin, who traditionally doesn't take towers that fast. It'll really help him be able to push those towers, getting those 3 grubs. So it'll really help the scaling of Riftbusters, considering they are into a comp that I think does scale better than them. But again, you got your Ornn right now, one of the best scaling champions in the game, I would say. Like, one of the best scaling tanks, at least. You got a Kai'Sa who scales extremely well. You got a Lulu who's going to scale really well with that Kai'Sa, and a Yone there to just absorb shields from the Lulu and the Ivern. So, I would say on the side of OSG Avalanche, for how this early game is going, sure, your Lulu's died 3 times, but your Kai'Sa, looking at the gold difference, okay, 1,200 gold behind, but Kai'Sa is going to scale really well, is going to be able to get those items and do a lot of DPS. So unless Riftbusters is going to be able to really capitalize on
With
this
actually
moment.
going on Ornn. Now, this Garen doesn't look like a champion, but if there's 2 champions involved, maybe they can get the Ornn. Ornn still has flash, uses it now. Still has ultimate, so I don't think the dive potential is really there. So, yeah, you stabilize the Garen. If you stabilize the bot lane, like we said before, Xerxes will become a real champion. You can't do the same for Garen. Meanwhile, mid lane, you're flashing out, but there's an Ivern there! But the Yone has to go back to his E! Daisy won't even get the knockup, so it looks like Starry Dagger has escaped with his life by using a flash. But Ivern is stabilizing another lane.
You say Riftbusters really needs to play around their bot lane that is ahead right now. You have
Oh wait,
your
I think
Jhin
Matrix is
who's
just
3-0.
dead. Has to flash out, there's still so much CC incoming. Yeah, they might not be able to give it to the. Oh, now they can, because Matrix has to come back. The Yoda E curse, you must come back! And he will fall to Starry Dagger. Meanwhile, Jin's just ulting for the wave, because he knows he doesn't want to get dove. Lulu has no CC that can reach him there, so.
Oh, he wasn't using that for the
Might as
wave.
well.
He was trying to get the Lulu down.
Fair enough. Just shoot him. They
Lulu
can't
doesn't
dive
have
if
any
Lulu's
CC.
at half.
It can polymorph him. She can just polymorph Jhin and stop his ulti.
Well, I think the
No,
CC is actually coming onto the Lulu if they're not careful. So Maokai's back in time to make sure the waves push back out. And Ivern can come back to stabilize this lane. I think they're just going to go for a reset. Actually, Google going pretty deep. Finds the Ivern. Are they going to make the same mistake again and try to fight this 2v3? Yes, Xerxes is low. But you're still 2v3. It's really scary. They just want to go for it. There's no Jhin ult. The ult comes out from Kai'Sa, but it's too early. Lulu ult's pretty good too. Sergeant is trying to fight
flank
this.
TP.
Gets
TP's
the
coming
rip,
in.
but the flash comes out. The TP is pretty good. Ornn's gonna be able to get on. Look how low the ult are. Lily is coming in. Flashes and the bomb was too late. They get 2. They're about to get 3. I think even through the Ornn. The flash is good. The shield is good. Bowling ball can't quite make it over that wall. Nope, not quite. Ornn is going to be able to cut something. Garen's farming this entire time, by the way. But now Akshan's on your back. I mean, Matrix also has ultimate. It's kind of scary. I don't know how Story gets out once the Lily is dead. Ornn is fully in. Yone ult is pretty good, but maybe he can get onto the Ivern. Ivern, you're a little close. Daisy does come in. They get the Ornn really low. Starry Dagger's not able to get anything quite. But Garen's just on the tower the full time, so he just got back into this game entirely.
Yeah, 100%. Garrett is able to get back into the game. I mean, he's still 1,500 gold behind the Ornn there. So yeah, he's back at the game. He's able to get a couple of tower plates, top lane, 4 tower plates even. But it's still going to be very hard for that Garen to match this Ornn in this top lane here. He doesn't have his Stride Breaker done. Ornn is able to just... Wait, that's CP. That's his own CP. I got confused when I saw the TP coming in.
Right? Like, how did he TP
Hunter...
twice in 2 minutes? That's
yeah,
not
I was
right.
like, Hunter just TP'd bot lane. That's definitely not his TP, but that was a very long, extended fight. And at the end of it, I do believe that OSG actually came out ahead in the eventual.
Maokai's in the same bush again. There's no TP this time. Jhin has the availability of ult as well. Ivern's finally here. Google will just walk away. So just Ivern ult used for some pressure. But I'm not sure that they can convert that to a dragon. Now, Garen does have TP advantage. I just don't know if you want your Garen to be TPing in and leaving Ornn in that same kind of 1v0 situation top lane that he got earlier.
Yeah. Ornn will
So
take
this
that
dragon's
tower.
kinda hard. I mean, he kind of is doing it with the Garen right there.
Yeah.
Finally, the wave goes down, so he has to walk away. Man, Google loves that bush.
He really does.
It's his favorite
Tribe
bush
rush?
to put saplings in.
That
But
was
right
a
now,
very
because he's in it,
rush.
because he's in it, Lily's just kind of taking Dragon and no one's stopping her. Kaisa can't ever face check with this wave right there. Ivern certainly can't face check, especially without Daisy, although it is up. I think it is up now.
And
So
Star
that
Dagger
Dragon's
is
just gonna
actually
go down.
coming in. Yeah, and
Yeah, so I think the
OSG
Dragon's just
doesn't
dead
have
anytime
vision.
soon.
And down goes the Drake. And it's Chemtech Drake, so it looks like it's actually going to be an Earth Soul. So if OSG is able
Google
to get
found a
that,
new
that's
bush. This general's really powerful because the sleep on Lulu means she cannot block. However, the ult out for Kaisa means they get a 1-for-1 trade. Tyserian gets a kill though, and Surjan gets another kill. So he is certainly accelerated. Meanwhile, top lane, levels are even. Items not as much, but Garen will still take these trades okay.
Yeah. I mean, that trade was surprisingly close, especially you got to remember that Garen will be able to back up. If he doesn't take damage, he will heal back.
Sarion, you're playing with fire. Because Ivern can come in, sure, but he doesn't have the damage even with Daisy. Now, Yon is trying to find Jin, finds him now, but the flash out means the E will not kill. The ult only finds Starry. The exhaust, however, prevents Matrix from getting any kill. It's so close. The Ivern shield coming out, protect Yon. Finally, he gets it with the pop-up of the Ivern shield. Ivern shield saved that fight for Matrix.
Yeah, I cannot believe Star Dagger lived through that. Just the amount of shielding that between Tessarian and Novocaine on that Lulu and Ivern, just putting so many shields onto that Yon there, and just keeping him alive for so long.
Could someone on Team Riftbusters Google what's the anti-shield item again? I need to remember.
Serpent's Fang.
It got
Serpent's
removed
Fang.
from AP. Yeah, Serpent's Fang. Okay. Someone get that item, please.
I think the only person who would be able to get it, I guess Akshan could get it. It's not ideally what you want. It's more of an assassin item generally. It does give lethality. It does give, like you said, the shield busting item. It's a shield busting item, but it's a little bit of an awkward item to build in your
Daisy's
core
still
build.
around, by the way. Did not die from. I mean, that's a new Daisy. Ornald's good. Garen can run away from a lot of things, but if he gets rooted one more time, I think he's just dead. But the knockup means it's guaranteed. Now,
But Lily's coming down the side.
I mean, Lily is here. Solomon gets a nice flash out. Orn is dead! And I think Ivern is too. Garen's not even going to die. Daisy finally picks it up at least. But that means the cross map play, there's no one to protect this bot lane, and they've been needing a lot of protection. They might just lose the tower, but that's like a best case scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You're a level down. But the E was used early. That's an important cooldown. So sorry, we'll take the time to go in. Yon does not have ult for about 5 seconds. Here comes the tower take from bot lane. I'm gonna use the ultimate to secure it. Looks like Starry doesn't want to press the issue. Happy to take the bot lane. That root actually just lasts all the way to there. So Sarian's in a lot of trouble. Does get the exhaust off to save his life and the ultimate. Just make sure, you know, double protection. But that's some cooldowns to use, and all they got for it was not losing their life while they lost the bot tower.
Yeah, definitely their bot lane from OSG is not in a great spot right now. But there is a lot of gold on that Jhin shutdown right now. So if Kaisa is able to pick up that Jhin shutdown, it will really swing the gold in favor of OSG, I believe. We'll have to see, because we do have the Ivern, they do have the Yon that are able to do a good amount of damage and help pick out that Jhin. Not Ivern as much, but Ivern Root does help with that. And on the other side of the map, Riftbusters just taking Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, their bot lane is so strong 2v2, they can draw the jungler down and get cooldowns. And the rest of the team was like, well, there's no one here. We'll just go get the other objective. Whatever.
Yeah, right? Oh, they're just ignoring top lane, I guess. I guess we'll just get Rift Herald. Oh, no. And I didn't even see the top lane tower and fall in favor of Riftbusters. But
yeah, they've been doing a lot of work here while Ivern has had to stabilize bot lane. Now, Solomon has not looked great, unfortunately, whenever Ivern does show up. But just like now, Daisy off cooldown, I swear. You know, used last time top lane, used here again, Oranhorn as well. You're super dead. And there's no objectives up, so it's a little awkward. Like, you already had the tower, but he got the tower before, you know, and Garen is still drawing pressure. Daisy, I believe, should be available for Dragon, but it's close. Actually, I think with the way they changed Daisy, it might not be.
Well, let's see. The Drake is spawning in a minute. Ivern is, I mean, it says his ult is back up on the spectator client, but that's just because Davy's walking.
Right, it used to be Daisy used to count for her own cooldown while she was out. It no longer works that way, I believe. So once Daisy goes away, which she will soon, you know, she's gotta have her me time, a little bit of a break. We will see the cooldown. It's ticking away now. It's 30 seconds, so it'll be up right after Dragon spawns. I don't think Riftbusters can take the Dragon in that time, so it will be available. But maybe they can find a window. where Daisy is down for just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Unfortunately, on the side of Riftbusters, they are on a reset, and Ornn is coming down for the straight fight, it looks like. He might have to call the Forge God up by then. It's hard to say. It's about on a quarter cooldown right now. Let me click over to him and see how much time is left on
Google
that.
loves these bushes.
20
But this
seconds.
time he's kind of caught in one. He's rooted up. I don't think they really want to engage on the Maokai. They seem to have tried to. Kai's actually coming in for it. They really want this Maokai dead. At any point, they can just give this a guaranteed TP in. I think Maokai is going down, but now you have no follow-up if Jin decides to ultimate. Yon used his E. Garen's going down a little bit. I think he will fall. Novaking goes down. Daisy goes down. The Hugify means he lives for a little bit. There goes Daisy. Now Crow has a really good position to just hit everyone. Surgeon has not been touched at all. Finally, Ornn is on him. Now, Jin does not kill Ornn quickly. Lilia does, though. And Jin's not even ignoring the Ornn. He's just going for the Lulu. Gets one. Now you can kill the Ornn once Lulu's down. And that means it's a third dragon for Riftbusters. And Herald's still top lane, by the way.
Yep, Herald is up there. You know, drop of the Herald for the pressure while you go for bot lane. I like the play. And it looks like Matrix is just going to have to go up there and try to save his tier 2. That Rift Herald is going to charge on the tier 2. And it's just going to be a little bit of a... Yeah, just going to get it. I do not believe the tier 2 will drop here. Yon does have a good amount of wave clear. We'll be able to save that tower. But unfortunately, Xerxes in the middle of the fight as a Kaisa, not exactly where you want to be in that. And the Garen TP in coming in just was able to really turn that.
I think they just called the bluff. They saw Garen use Herald top lane. You don't want to be a top laner that goes Herald teleport down to the fight. You want to get that tower. So Kaisa engages on the Maokai. They say any fight is a good fight. But suddenly there's a Garen TP in her face, and once you've used the ultimate on a Maokai, you don't have any options left. Crow is getting some cold that maybe he shouldn't be allowed to. I mean, this is a little egregious, but there are people coming from both sides. Matrix does not have ultimate yet. Redemption coming out to protect him from Ivern. But the stun comes in from Google Mop, and that means that he will go down. Once Yon is down, this is so scary for the side of OSG, but the low bars are too low. So they will finally get Google. 1-for-1 trade. But on the other side of the map, Jin and Akshan are still putting pressure out.
Yeah, that was a lot burned there for a support kill. For a 1-for-1 where you trade your mid laner for a support. So, I mean, any gold onto your Kaisa right now is what you want to be seeing as the side of OSG Avalanche, but definitely not. I'm going to say it's not worth it, considering they lost pressure in the mid and the bot lane, and Lily over here just taking a couple of buffs at a time, you know. Good time, you love to see junglers doing it. But, I mean, the Kaisa, yeah, she does have her second item done. You have that Gensu's and that Static Shiv, but just... it feels like it's not enough at this stage in the game. Like, you do have the Ivern, you do have the Lulu to shield her, but it feels like if Kaisa's ulting into the other side of the team fight, Lulu and Ivern really aren't going to be able to shield her that much and keep her alive. So we're going to have to see if these team fights play out any different. To protect the president, you can try to keep that Kaisa alive. But Kaisa
Okay,
likes
Jin should not be
that.
the one contesting these waves. You can do it with Lilia because she's so fast. I'm not sure that Jin can, but maybe he can because he gets the root off and Lulu's just dead. No one can do anything about it. Now Kaisa's in the middle of nowhere. This is right next to Baron. Ornn's finally going to try to stop it, but you've lost 2 of your members. You're not even ulting the Jin. They're just going up for Maokai again. You can't keep on going for Google like this. The rest of the team will just eviscerate you. Lilia and Akshan are just not even there. And the rest of OSG Avalanche are just dying, trying to stop the camps from being taken. Stormy, meanwhile, sorry, in this 1v1 doing fine. I mean, Ornn's still going in on Google. Come on, man. The Maokai gets to live. Let it go. But he will go down. That's 4 members alive versus 2 members alive, I guess, because Matrix and Lulu are alive again. But that's right next to Baron.
It feels like Novakane's going. There's only 1 tree allowed in this game. Only 1 tree. I am the true tree, but it looks like definitely should be Baron going over to the side of Riftbusters. And kind of crazy fight. It felt like just Maokai in all of these fights just being a strong frontliner and just getting focused down for the side of OSG when that Jin's just being allowed to free auto from the backline. And
I mean, Sir Dan literally invaded Raptor Pit. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Jin, you're not supposed to do that, but if you're this far ahead, just do whatever you want, I guess. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, the Jin's doing so much damage at this point. When you have a Jin that has 3.5 items at 24 minutes into the game, you're kind of allowed to do whatever you want because a single auto attack is going to take half the help from a lot of these squishy champions. Like, the only real tank that OSG has is that Ornn, and even Ornn kind of gets shredded by this Jhin at this point. So I don't know. It's going to be really tough unless they're able to get a pick. Unless OSG is able to get a pick onto that Jhin and get a kill onto him. These
That
team
they
fights are
wanna
going
pick
to
on
be
Google.
really rough. Yeah.
That's all they've been doing for the past 5 minutes, and I get it. Getting a pick on Maokai would be very acceptable if you don't get entangled in the fight, but the problem is, Maokai's whole thing is entanglement, so trying to get a pick on him, as you can see, Matrix is entangled, and he's gone.
Yeah. That is an unfortunate loss right there, especially with a minute before Drake spawns. It's going to be extremely hard for Ref Busters to contest, or not Ref Busters, OSG. I can't speak. I'm losing my ability to speak English, and it's only on game 2 tonight. But definitely going to be very hard for OSG to contest this Drake that's spawning in less than a minute. And Jhin,
Sergi
that's
kind of
good
low here.
damage coming
Kaisa's
out.
going in for the hero play. It doesn't even matter. Sergi
Yeah.
just one-shots her, taps her in the face like, what are you doing? Do not be silly.
that is
was very excellently used there. I guess you kind of have to go for it at that point, because...
It's a desperation play, right?
Yeah, right. I just the idea of Jhin just like, Kaisa, you are out of your league, and shoots her in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a 4th shot, to be fair, but Kaisa doesn't have that barrier. She has that cleanse. So it's extremely hard to get a pick onto this Jhin when he has that such range. He has the rapid fire cannon, he has his W, he has all of his ultis. Like, it is so hard to get picks onto this Jhin right now. And I could see where they're going.
What if he has a Mountain Soul? Does that make it easier?
No. But at least it's better than Eternal or Hextech.
I
where
guess.
a
I mean,
take all of your health.
And now Solomon, despite being behind all game, can just do this. I mean,
Yeah.
he just has to ult and flash out. Oh man, and they've really, I mean, Riftbusters have made quite the statement this game. They really snowballed a bot lane only lead. Like, Starry was not ahead, Solomon was certainly critically behind. And they've snowballed it to where all of the map is super advantage for them. And again, the seeding is such that these teams have not played against each other before. Sector 1, Sector 2. This is Sector 1's first seed versus Sector 2's barely qualified team. So you have to imagine that if Riftbusters can continue this and win the series, the rest of the Sector 2 teams kind of get a buff of like, wait, maybe our sector was the better sector. Meanwhile, Ornn getting kind of caught up here. The root's pretty good. Everyone else can't follow up, so he's just gone. You know, Jhin doesn't kill him very quickly. The rest of his team will. And no one can follow up. Lilia's just going in like crazy. Yes, use Zanya's, and Jhin can ult everyone. Matrix has to pull out some kind of miracle. He can. He has to E back. That means Jhin knows exactly where to shoot. There's already minions here. They don't even care. Solomon can tank for a while. Lulu shield plus Kaisa shields a lot. There's no Ivern though, and it's not enough to deal with all of this damage coming out.
Yeah, I think that Jhin auto did about 600 damage to Kaisa there, and it wasn't even a 4th shot. So, gonna be. Honestly, I think this might just be game for Riftbusters. I feel like the game's about to end. They're getting all 3 inhibs, and I believe that time they got 10 seconds. Maybe not. Maybe they don't have enough time to end, but.
I mean,
I think this
end
should
it
just be the end
now,
of the
end it
game.
in 5 minutes. Either way, I do not see Riftbusters Nexus exploding this game. There are definitely weirder things that have happened.
Yeah,
And this
I've
is
seen the
quite the late
comebacks.
game comp. But that's a Mountain Soul 14 kill Jhin.
Yes. That is going to be very tough when that Jhin is able to just one-shot your entire team, basically. With not even a 4th shot. Well, he's got a 100% crit chance now. Wait, no, he doesn't. 4th doesn't do crit chance. So he's still at that 75%. But if he gets to that 100%, every auto attack's a 4th shot, basically. So it's going to be really hard to do this. Jin's going to be able to just one-shot pretty much anyone but the Ornn, I believe, at this point.
So what will OSG Avalanche fight over next? They fought over top Krugs. They fought over top Raptors. I think soon they're going to have to find themselves fighting over their Nexus towers. Maybe just even midway priority with nothing up. I mean, Google is kind of overextended here, but we've seen this before. Once that Maokai ult comes out, I mean, he's rooted now, but he gets that major heal. Daisy's already gone. Ivern has to flash. Redemption will not kill him. Here comes the Maokai ult with the Jhin ult over it. Someone's gonna die. Ornn might take a while to die. He got another ult as well, but now they just have no cooldowns left. Yon ult comes in, picks up 2, but Jin's still there under no threat. Watch him reload. Tari will go down. Sergeant's still ready to just shoot whoever. He doesn't care. Gets one. I mean, look, he's got 3 shots left. 3 people are gonna die. Goes in, flashes in for the 80k, then gets the Ornn. Maybe he'll just get a tower now. Nope, just gonna go for the Nexus. I mean, he's even just sitting out of the fountain, ready at the shooting range. But the Nexus will go down. And that is Riftbusters bringing it back to us, a series of 1-1.
That was definitely, like you're mentioning, a very strong showing from the bot lane of Riftbusters there. I got to imagine the Jhin isn't going to be getting through. Like, OSG Avalanche is already banning 280 carries in these first round of bans, and Riftbusters like, all right, cool, you ban our Caitlyn, you ban our Ezreal, we're just going to play Jhin. So I don't know what they're going to be doing. Maybe they drop a different champion for the Jhin ban, but I don't know. It feels like the Jhin is probably a lot scarier than the Caitlyn or the Ezreal at this stage or in this meta right now. So who knows?
And I think,
Maybe we'll see the bans change up from OSG for this game 3.
and I think it has to be pointed out that Crow is 2 for 2 on early ganks that have gone well. Novocain's only 1 for 2.
Yeah.
His early gank that time was, I mean, it was fine. I wouldn't say it's a bad gank. It just didn't lead to that fountain of pressure that it did in game 1. But Crow has been able to do quite a bit with those early ganks.
Yeah, we have already gotten confirmation OSG is taking blue side for this game 3. So again, we're seeing the teams switch sides again. And maybe if we go to a 5-game series, it's just going to be blue side wins every game. Who knows? But
I think the
for
drafts
now,
are just going to be dynamic enough that maybe it doesn't happen that way, but I'm not sure. I mean, we already learned one thing. Twitch is not coming out early. Learned another. Kaisa isn't always the end-all be-all. And that there are quite a few things you need to ban for blue side to not be all-powerful, for sure.
yeah. And but yeah, we're gonna have to see. I don't expect the Jhin to be able to come out again from the side of Riftbusters, but we'll have to see. Maybe OSG Avalanche do consider that Caitlyn and that Ezreal to be stronger picks than that Jhin. But after that showing, I wouldn't be having the Jhin in here. I'd be saying get the Jhin out. We do not need this Jhin in the game. I honestly think I don't think OSG Avalanche will first pick it either. Like they're on blue side. I don't think they're going to be first picking the Jhin. I've never seen Xerxes play Jhin. Let me double check that, but I don't think he does.
On the other hand, maybe the answer is just not picking such a greedy bot lane. Lulu Kaisa definitely has applications in the late game. I mean, certainly those mid game fights were very impactful with the Lulu and the Ivern, and so the idea was there. But your laning phase is so awkward. I mean, yes, it was impacted by an early gank that might not be there every game. But if you take a more stable lane like Kaisa Leona, I mean, obviously Leona wasn't available, but just something that's a little bit more stable, maybe you don't see that Jhin pop off as much.
I mean, if we're looking back on the draft from last game, they chose the Kaisa and Yone as the first 2 picks on red side, so that is a little crazy there. But that's I don't know. I feel like instead of picking that Yone early, blind picking that Yone, maybe it would be a smarter choice to pick that strong bot lane. Like Leona didn't get banned till round 2 from Riftbusters, so maybe instead of picking the Yone with the Kaisa, you just pick the Kaisa Leona together. Well, OSG is on blue side this time, so it might be different. They could just be first picking the Kaisa. But if the Leona doesn't get banned in the first round, I'd say instead of blind picking that Yone, let's pick up that Leona and pair that with our Kaisa, that very strong bot lane that got a pretty good lead early game and was able to just kind of snowball, even with not too many kills early. So we'll have to see what OSG wants to do here. I imagined, I don't think the Jhin should be coming out. Look at bans. Katarina. I don't think Katarina is gonna stay, or I don't think Katarina is gonna be played. I think Katarina is gonna stay just out of the game for this entire series. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna see it. But I don't think the Caitlyn or Ezreal are as scary as the Jhin. So I do think they're gonna drop one of those bans for the Jhin. Maybe it's the Caitlyn, maybe it's the Ezreal. We'll have to see, and maybe we'll see those picked up from the side of Riftbusters. But I honestly don't think. I think Jin's just so much stronger in the meta right now than Caitlyn or Ezreal, especially after the changes to Caitlyn on this patch. She did get some buffs, but Fleet Footwork got nerfed, so it really did hurt Caitlyn a lot more than people are expecting. So I don't think Caitlyn's a good ban. I say they drop the Caitlyn ban and take the Jhin ban if they're going to be banning AD carries, because that Jhin
Yeah.
was scary.
It is awkward to ban out that many 80 carries and still have a 14 kill 80 carry at the end of the day. That being
Mhm.
said, I mean, you can't ban them all. If you can do that on Jhin, you can probably do that on Caitlyn and Ezreal. I don't know. I've seen some Caitlyn's and Ezreal's pop off. So, I don't know. I feel like Avalanche might have to. I mean, they could definitely try it once with the Jhin ban. If that doesn't go well, they're going to have to come up with something other than just banning 80 carries.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they already banned 2 in the first round, and they just picked Surgeon just picked Jhin and kind of popped off. So I don't, like I said, I expected to drop the Caitlyn ban and get the Jhin ban, because I think Surgeon's Jhin is just too scary at this point, and I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if they're taking a 5-minute break. They're talking about Church's fried chicken, I believe.
We're doing a little bit of a kind of break where like teams are like, yeah, we're kind of ready. Just give me a second. Let me
Yeah,
ruminate about how I should have eaten before the series, or you know.
always.
But I think we will be getting into it soon. And yeah,
Everybody
I
is
don't know.
in champ select, it looks like.
Bands
Good.
are gonna be interesting for sure. And I'm
Mhm.
kind of curious what happens whenever you do unleash Starry. Cinder looked good. Issues aside, landing aside. Akshan looked fine. Yun was not having a good time, although Ivern did help him quite a bit so that he was able to stabilize. If you
Mhm.
allow him to have the Katarina, and I guess he didn't even take the Rise the second time, but you allow him to have counter matchup with Rise or some kind of good Katarina matchup, maybe he helps off and you don't even have to worry about the bot lane because your mid lane's losing.
Yeah,
But
definitely
Katarina
not
will still be
Katarina.
banned.
Yeah. And Ace Hole, just mid for mid bans here. I guess like, hey, we know your best champion, we're banning him. Don't want to see Ace Hole, don't want to see Katarina. So here is where OSG Avalanche could be changing up their bans. We shall see. Is it going to be the Caitlyn or is it going to be the Jhin? And it's the Ezreal,
Neither.
the one, the one that I was fine with them keeping in. And that's still the Amumu from Rift Busters. They did win last game, and it's still going to be the Caitlyn ban. Really?
Yeah, and I don't
Well,
expect them
rather
to
lock
take
it
Jin
in.
here. I think I have a different read of the draft, and maybe I'm completely off. I don't think they're going to take Jin. I think they're just going to try to answer it in playstyle in their own draft. But Rift Busters, if you're seeing this, I'm down to pick Jin again. Run it back.
Yeah,
I'm just not
I
sure that
definitely
Kai'Sa is going
think
to be the
Rift
first pick
Busters.
from Avalanche.
I think Kai'Sa's still the first pick. I just think you pair a better support with the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's
Mhm.
strong enough right now, and Surgeon looks okay. Nope, it's the Lilia first pick actually.
Yes, because Rift Busters moved the ban to Amumu. Last time they were blue side, they were able to take Lilia. This time they cannot. And let me tell you, Novocaine looked kind of insane in game one on Amumu. Lilia could probably do
And
similar things, and this time they don't even take the Jhin. They take away the Kai'Sa, so you're getting these power picks in the series. Both teams think Kai'Sa's good. Both teams think Lilia is good. And it's going to be blue versus red side. I think you're going to see Lilia and Kai'Sa on opposite sides of the rift for the rest of the series.
we're gonna see with that now. I think OSG Avalanche kind of opens them up to maybe take that Misfortune. Misfortune is very strong right now, and I'm actually surprised not to have seen it in this draft already. But the Zac is a bit hard to play the Misfortune onto. You're into. You start with your ult, and Zac just jumps on top of you and stops whatever you want to do. So we'll have to
Yeah,
see. But
maybe not the best Misfortune draft anymore with one pick
yeah,
turned away. Varus is popping off on the meta. A little bit of an uppercomer. You know, all the AD carries were mid, right? Said stop that, nerf them down. Varus escaping that a little bit, although he historically was mid a lot.
he
So
was.
here
He
he
was mid.
is.
But
Um,
okay. I'm not personally a
so
huge fan of the Varus, but I can see where it could come in. And it is that poke Varus, but I don't have we seen Surgeon or
what is Starry
Xerxes on
picking?
Varus.
The Yones picked. Starry knows what he's into. I mean, he could technically play the Kai'Sa. I really want to see what Starry picks because yeah, the Akshan was cute, but I really think he has the potential to pop off here with counterpick and only one ban against him.
Let's
And I'm
see.
not sure
I
what
am
he's gonna pick
checking
next.
people's OP.GGs. I'm not sure we've seen
Oh,
Surgeon play the Varus at all.
well, I've got a new one for you as well because we have not seen Starry play much, but what we have seen has been kind of absurd. We've seen Rise, Victor Akshan, Syndra, and now Zoe. That is quite the champ pool.
Yeah, you could say that again. And Zoe's always a fun one to watch because Zoe gets those one shots from a screen away, and it looks like Busters is just going to ban out top laners again. Taking care of that
Yeah, I
Rumble, I'm
think
assuming the Orange is going to be banned again.
yeah, it did seem like
It was
Ornn
game
really
one.
locked up their top laner, so I respect the Rumble and Ornn bans, which they did in game one. It just makes sense here to me. But Avalanche seeing that coming, they know the Ornn ban's coming, so they're gonna ban Garen preemptively just to deal with that eventuality.
And I
Mordekaiser ban
am
actually,
looking.
so they felt more comfortable
Xerxes.
with the Ornn than the Mordekaiser.
Huh. Okay. But I was gonna say I did look up the op.gg. Xerxes does have some games on Varus. He hasn't played it in LXC yet, but he does have some games on it. He does have 8 solo queue games and he's 7-1. So maybe he's a god at Varus. We'll have to see. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Varus on this patch and just really this meta in general. I feel like Varus has always been a champion that can do either poke or on hit and kind of never doesn't excel at either. And if draft freeze for you, it's frozen for me.
It did
I think
not. I
my
can tell you what the next pick is. You might not believe me. It's Vladimir. I'm gonna try to
oh
get that screen to you as soon as possible.
I think my
Um,
Google Chrome just froze up.
but
Is that really what happened here? Okay, I'm good
regardless,
now. I can see the draft again.
Vladimir has been locked in. Tom Kench has been locked in for Avalanche. Which is not where we saw it last time. If I remember correctly, I'm not having memory issues, right? Yeah, Riftbusters took it last time, but this time it's Tom Kench, and it could be Tom Kench top. You know, Riftbusters kind of psyched us out with the Tom Kench support both this week and last week, but I think Avalanche is more willing to take a top lane, which means this last pick would be support. I mean, we'll find out pretty immediately, of course. Tom Kench and a
Yeah.
Vladimir, what a matchup. Yep,
Yeah,
Milio's not
and
going
that is
top
a
lane,
Milio
so.
support. Okay. I think it's weird for me to see. Oh,
Okay,
and that's a
wait.
Pike.
That's a pick comp. You know, you're talking about last time. Yes, a pick comp. This is a pick comp.
Yeah. This is definitely a pick comp. You got Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble. You got the Zac just jumping in. You got Pike hooking people, CCing them. Pike can kill. They don't like OSG has one tank. It's the Tom Kench, and that's it. And yeah, he's gonna get pretty decently tanky, but Pike's gonna be able to kill every other member of the side of OSG Avalanche. And with the exception of Lilia and Yone, you have a lot of mobility, but that Varus just zero mobility. It's like the Kog'Maw. It's like you're playing Kog'Maw into Pike, but you have less range. Like you do have the Milio to give you a bit more extra range, but that Pike I feel like is going to have a field day in this bot lane, especially paired with the Kaisa.
Yeah, bot lane's kind of interesting. If Riftbusters pop off again, Kaisa will do much more than that Jen ever could, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
both are really strong late game with 14 kills, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got the Zoe and the Zac. Now, it is awkward playing it to pick comp into Tom Kench. You know, someone gets bubbled. Oh no, what do we do? Oh, we just eat them. But that's still on cooldown. You know, it's not the old days of Tom Kench. But how do we feel about this top lane matchup, which I haven't seen since Tom Kench came out, I guess?
Tom
Even
Kench
then?
versus Vladimir. I mean, the thing about Vladimir has a lot of sustain. Tom Kench has a decent amount of sustain, especially if he goes for that Warmog's Heartsteel build. But I do believe Vladimir is just going to be able to scale better because Vladimir is just that insane, like, drain tank basically in the top lane. He's going to be always queuing you. He's just going to sustain it. Well, I feel like he'll always win that 1v1 versus Tom Kench in the mid to late game. So I do like the Vladimir pick here. It's a very good blind pick, and I'm not sure about the Tom Kench to counter it. Ornn wasn't bad. I feel like Ornn could have been a lot better pick into it, but Tom Kench, traditionally a very aggressive early game top laner, but I feel like he's going to struggle a bit into Vladimir, the one who just wants to
Yeah,
scale and farm.
we'll have to see. I mean, Tom Kenches have done surprising things in Arbiter before.
Yeah,
As
that's
you
true.
you may remember. But we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, that Sleepy Trouble bubble, that is some trouble indeed, because that hits someone and Tom Kench isn't there, you're dead.
Mhm. That is definitely true. But we'll have to see because, like I said, Zoe is so much fun to watch. She hits the bubble and kills somebody from straight and a half away. it's not as fun to play against when you're an AD carry or somebody who's squishy. But we shall see what's going to happen with this team comp. Like I saw Skullkeeper in chat saying Riftbusters has a very aggressive early game comp. So, and they played it very well last game. So I will be excited to see what Riftbusters are able to do against this OSG Avalanche team. It's kind of a bit more scaling, but looks like all teams are locked in. So I think now is as good a time as any to send it over to a quick break as we wait out that spectator delay.
Mhm.
I'm fighting inside. Some days, 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 I'm fighting inside.
Welcome to the Rift for Game 3 of OSG versus Riftbusters. We got one game apiece, which is pretty exciting, and I don't think level 1's going to be quite that quiet. We've got Zach and Pike available. I mean, they are just kind of sitting in bushes. Maybe I'm just hyping myself up for no reason. I feel like this has been the same 10-player positions all 3 games, which is fine. You don't need explosive level 1s. Just you know, something exciting about a Pike hook.
I know there's a Pike Kaisa on the side of Riftbusters, and that's a very strong level 1. I'd love to see them invading right now. Like, if Pike lands a hook, somebody's dead. Oh, there's a Milio and a Varus. Like, who's gonna do it? Are you gonna burn Flash? If Varus burns Flash level 1, great, even easier for Pike and Lane, but it does not look like it's gonna happen. But the Pike and Kaisa are sneaking into the brush, so maybe I spoke too soon.
Wait,
Maybe
is Crow starting
something is
Raptors? Raptor Crow's starting a major camp for the first time this series, which is interesting because Zach is one of the best level. Oh, okay, never mind. He's going back to Raptors. All right, Tom Kids, get ready. Because Zach is one of the best level 3 gankers in the game, so it makes sense that this would be the game he definitely. Oh wait, speaking of cheese, Google's really aggressively placed. They void out the Kaisa. No one has spotted the Pike yet, and that's the time whenever like, I don't have to worry about level 1. Now you do because he's here. Now they don't even get the minions on him yet. Ignite comes out early. The good cue from Sarion to get Google Maps off of him. So they get a little bit of wave control. Pike's kind of chunks, but so is Milio.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit interesting there, because the bot lane from Riftbusters were focusing different champions. Pike was on the Milio, but good Pike hook.
Gets the Varus, exhaust comes out on the Pike. That's not who you want to exhaust. Soljan is just free hitting. They will get the kill on Pike, but not before you lose your 80 carry. Sarion, my Volt 2 has to flash out.
And that's a spicy bot lane play that I like to see. Got the Pike, didn't even have to wait for 2 there. Didn't even wait for 2.
This is the problem. This is the problem with banning the gen. You just have to play better. You can't ban every 80 carry if Surgeon is able to do this every time. I mean, Zach wasn't even here for level 3 gank. But again, Surgeon has gotten an advantage early in bot lane.
Yep. I mean, it was a 1-for-1 trade, but unfortunately, Varus is going to be super far behind in XP now.
Is way behind Zoe right now. Now, I'm not sure. Pike is here as well. Flash out. Bubble comes in on Lilia, and there's a Pike coming. This hook should land 100% of the time. Novocaine's just dead, and Pike has made 2 lanes. Easily won for Riftbusters right now.
Zach sharpened his jump. Will he land it?
He doesn't even have to. He can just farm his camps. Lilia has just thrown away all sense of, oh my gosh, the flash in. Maybe a little aggressive, because I don't... Wait, E... Okay. You know what's funny? Is that Zoe's actually countered by Yone a long time ago is what people considered the matchup to be like, right? Because Yone just E's and then doesn't have to worry about the Sleepy Trouble Bubble as much. But here we see Starry picking Zoe into Yone. This is the 3rd champion Starry's picked into Yone for the series. And just, I mean, every time Starry's just showing that he can play against Yone no matter what.
Yeah, I think you are correct on that, and there, Google Mop looking for the hook there. Unfortunately, does not land, but this wave is in a super unfortunate position for the side of OSG right now. You never want the wave to be pushing towards the enemy team's tower when you're playing against that. But they don't even care about the wave.
They play with the wave hitting Surgeon right now because Tyrion's too low. So even though these minions are hitting, wait, actually, Surgeon, you kind of have to pay attention. Barrier will not protect you from 20 minions hitting you. Now Google's got nowhere to go. Gonna try to get anything if he can. Wait a second. Avalanche, their bot lane's kind of popping off now.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one there. Varus now walking out of the lane with 3 kills. What happened, unfortunately, in that fight is that they were focusing the support. They were chasing Milio into a massive minion wave.
Early. Yeah, it's the kind of play you can make whenever you're super head, but maybe they forgot they don't have 14 kills in the bank right now. They've only got 1, so... Fortunately can't quite do it in this instance, and that is kind of unfortunate because you're playing the lane that really wants to do that over and over again, and you mess up once, it's a lot harder to do it again. Now the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will just get eaten by the E, so Yone, again, this is why Yone is considered a counter matchup to Zoe all those years ago whenever both these champions were played consistently. But I mean, Starry's still doing great.
I mean, got a little bit of a C. Oh no, they're dead even in CS mid lane, and Pike's looking for an aggressive hook again. Unfortunately, does not land onto the Varus, but Zach is in the area. Start charging the B. Nothing though. Just gonna charge up and say goodbye.
Oh man, all these lanes are so volatile right now. Jungles have their pick, but right now Zach's actually just going to Dragon Pit. Starry is chasing down Yone, and I think some people are going to come from the Dragon Pit for this fight. No, they just go for the Dragon. The flash in from Tomkich! Solomon's dead! No, he's got a flash too. Took a little bit too soon. But now Yone is completely zoned out. They get the Dragon for the first Dragon for Riftbusters, despite the mishap in the bot lane earlier. Pyke looking for a hook. This is kind of cheeky. Varus has to flash over, but now Pyke's on the wrong side of this. Looks like they don't want to commit now. Sleepy Trouble Bubble gets baited out by the E. That's just how that works. But yeah, there's just so much pressure right now for Riftbusters on the mid and bot side of the map. And then top lane, Sullivan's living.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate position there in that Drake fight. Luckily, Xerxes did not die, but you're going against the Pyke there. You have to know that Pyke can pull you over
but
that
it's
wall.
Solomon living now. No flashes for top lane. Lilia does not have flash either. It might not matter. Pull doing a lot of damage though. This Vladimir doesn't even need 6. But the healing coming out is... Oh my gosh! He just burst Tomkich, and now he does have 6! So Lilia can't do anything either! The Q heal is going to be more than enough. I think Solomon's content to just get the 1 kill. But Lilia coming in just to have her own laner die.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate timing there. Like, I could see where they're going for. The Tom Kench was 6 and Vladimir was not. But Tom Kench unfortunately did not get the opportunity. I think he was trying to give the kill over to Lilia because he didn't burn the ulti there.
But now maybe the follow-up is good enough. Nope.
Knockup does not land though.
It's kind
And now you got Vladimir with the kill.
I see all this advantages on the way that Riftbusters is playing. Like, they play for that dragon super aggressively. They've bullied this Yone incredibly. Bot lane, other than mishap, has been bullied. But the gold is actually showing the opposite story.
Yeah, the gold's actually in favor of OSG Avalanche right now. And granted, most of that is on the Varus. So you got about 1,000 gold lead on the Varus. Tom Kench.
Oh, it might not matter now, though, because the gold lead right now is only going to face a Pyke. Are you serious? Just run away? I guess, yeah, that gold lead's kind of hurting.
Frozen in the area.
Wow,
Frozen in the area.
is right there. Barrier's down. Now, Zach maybe can get this because the barrier's a little early. I'm going to get why it was used, but now you're in a tower. Nowhere to run. Gold lead will not protect you from a Zach in your face. That's a shutdown. And Zach is suddenly super accelerated. Gold is now firmly in the favor of Riftbusters.
Yep. Now, only a 400 gold lead. Definitely nothing impossible or terrible to come back from, but that was a bit of an unfortunate play. Like, Zach was in the great area. You saw he pulled down the Gromp there, so he was in the middle of taking the Gromp, and he saw that play starting, so he decided, I have to come down to help my bot lane. My AD carry just had to burn both summoners that go under her tower. I need to save her, but... And, you know, for a little aggressive play here in the mid lane. Zoe is going to get a good bit of damage off.
Or is it Yone? Because, look, now he's back at his mini wave. Wow, what a cool champion.
Yep. Gotta love Yone, right? Doesn't matter what he does, he can always just hop back with that E.
But he has to hop back. That's the curse. That's definitely my favorite part. But right now,
not the curse of the sad mummy.
Camp. There's also a Lily here. Now, Yone does have ultimate, so he's going to look to apply it pretty well. Lilia as well. I mean, I don't know. With Pyke here, it might change the numbers. Drowsy doesn't matter if you're knocking someone up actively. Yone gets everyone, though! Matrix with the shield, but it doesn't matter. Just dies barely, and now Lily has nowhere to go as well. And they even secure the red buff. And the big just does not work out well. Now, Solomon's does not have any support because of all this. So, Hunter does get a solo kill. But, I mean, the jungle and mid adventures do not go well for Novocaine and Matrix.
I'd just like to point out, I just noticed Solomon's ritual has Grasp of the Undying instead of something like Phase Rush or Airy in this matchup. So that's a little questionable. But,
I mean, I kind of get it. You try to bully the Tom Kench and you get that extra damage, extra sustain. It could work. But not whenever the Tom Kench is jumping on you constantly.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with Airy, though, or Phase Rush, where the Tom Kench is jumping on you, you proc the Phase Rush, you're able to just run away, so... Little bit of an interesting play there. Interesting summoner take. Or not summoner, keystone of the Grasp of the Undying into that Tom Kench. But it looks like things have calmed down, at least for now. We do have a 700 gold lead in favor of Riftbusters at this moment, but honestly, it's kind of anyone's game at this point, for sure. You have a 3-0 Zoe on the side of Riftbusters, you got a 2-0 Zach, and most of the deaths have really, well, 2 out of the 4 deaths on the side of Riftbusters have been on the Pyke, so if you're going to have anyone dying, I'm going to say the support's probably the one you prefer, and looks like...
Yeah, but what if it's the Vlad?
Just going to get chased down again.
Because I think Vlad's in a lot of trouble here. I mean, yes, he has the pool for the stun, but that does not make the things fall off. So you get stunned up again, you get knocked up. You just got nowhere to go. You can use a grass pot, maybe. Ultimate, sure. But you're just going to get lashed to death. And that's the catfish difference.
Yeah, that's definitely just the catfish right there.
Oh,
And again,
we're
if he
looking
had
for a
phase
3v3
rush,
here. Not quite. Okay.
if he had phase rush, he probably would have been able to kite that Tom Kench a little bit better than that. So. Pike looking for an aggressive
Pike is
hook.
just constantly looking for this, but now he's the one hooked. He cannot eat out easily. He will go down, and now you're still getting a 2v3 with Yon still in the area too. But Crow still goes for it. Yon's gonna turn right around, say, "What are you doing?" But Crow is immediately on his team. Xoxian is gonna go in, get the Siren, but now they're committed into a 2v3. I don't know if they can do this, especially with the Yon ult. It gets the Kaisa as well, despite not hitting immediately. Zac passive isn't gonna save anyone. Zoe's here, sure. But I just don't think that he can find anything over these walls, and that's right before Dragon Spots. I think Zoe can stop that. So maybe Riftbusters doesn't lose everything from this, especially with that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. I don't know if that kills. It looks close. Dig Dive does! And now Zardy's trying to get the Q off. Will get that. It's a 1-for-1 trade. You have no jungler now, though.
That's a big shutdown onto Xerxes too. Like that was a 4-0 Zoe when he just killed him. So that is, can I see it in the chat? That was a massive shutdown on the side of onto the whatchamacallit. On the Varus.
Advantages are going crazy, right? Mid, bot, just constantly fighting. The one thing in staying stable is this top lane has become a disaster for Solomon's, and I'm not sure that it gets better with time. I mean, he's down 2 levels.
Yeah. I mean, he picked the Vladimir 2 scale. Oh, looks like a fight could be ruined mid lane.
Has the flash, has no ult, has to come back to the E, that's the curse. Comes back now with no Q up though for Pike, so it looks like he'll be okay. Actually using the ult on Crow. Crow has no passive, but Lilia's not going to commit on that. So instead it will just be Lilia ult used. All this is while Dragon's available.
Yeah, that's Dragon, it actually looks like Riftbusters does have the inside track on this Drake, and I'm not sure they could actually leave the mid lane here unattended. But actually, Crow's not going to start the Dragon, which is a little surprising to me. I think you have the Pike, you have the Zoe, you can just start that right now. Like, I really do.
They want to go for a pick instead, but the Zoe uses the Q, so they're not going to face check into the Pike. Finally, a ward will go down. That's just free gold for Pike, or is it? Because Lilia wants to defend it. Not going
yeah, Lily doesn't have ulti up, though. That's the big thing to remember. Lily does not have ulti, so you don't have that big pick and team fight potential for this Drake, and I'm really surprised to see, well, Surgeon's overextended by a lot.
Once that pull gets used, it's so scary to have to survive in that lane. It looks like he's going to be okay because of the tower, but Solomon is not happy right now.
No, Solomon's not having a good time this lane, unfortunately. Yon going aggressive here onto the Kaisa, but
right,
Zac
but there's a
is
Pike
there.
right here. Zac, you have to go back to the E, not quite able to get the Zac E onto it though. So he'll be fine. Zoe, however, is probably not fine. Gets CC'd up. There's so much damage from this virus, not even able to land any damage onto the Millia, who had exhaust. So I think it was fine. Solomon has to pull early again, but the ult and the Q healing means maybe he's okay. So I think he gets to survive for now.
I gotta ask, does Millia have like a global buff where everybody's like taunted onto him? Because I've been noticing the bot lane and the mid lane are just
speaking of which,
on the Millia.
They weren't quite able to commit onto him. Now Varus doesn't have ult, so they might still look for this 3v3. It's still, or 3v4 rather. It's still very scary because Yon can burst everyone, finds the ult only onto Crow. That's not who he wants. Crow down, ulting everybody. Will go down without passive, and there's just no follow-up.
I actually thought Matrix was going to go down there. I really did. Kaisa has that static shift done. She just, unfortunately, doesn't have that Q evolve yet, so doesn't have quite as much damage as she could. But if she sticks around here, Surgeon might be able to get this bot lane tier 1. So maybe we'll have to see with the static shift. You do have a good amount of wave clear, but it's going to be tough to say in this one. You do have the Pike there to protect you.
That Dragon stabilizes Avalanche so much. I mean, they definitely were the ones that had a big problem with this Tom Kench that Riftbusters had to answer, but big problems of their own in the mid and bot lane. Getting that Dragon helps them stabilize it to where Yon's going to be a problem, Varus is going to be a problem, Lily's going to be a problem. A lot easier. Yeah, Yon things. By the way, we picked Zoe into this Yon, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, Zoe was doing well early game into the Yone, but now it feels like it's becoming a lot more difficult to deal with that Yone. But Zoe's still no slouch, is 4-2-0, so maybe we'll be able to get those picks late game. Could look for a bubble here onto this Rift Herald. Does land on the Yone, he is... Okay,
Oh, it landed on who now? Who?
Yeah,
I
the
didn't see
one
it.
who it doesn't matter. Because of that, he seems like a great champion. Very balanced. Also a
I
great
mean-
counter pick into Aurora for that same reason.
I don't mind champions having counters. I do mind whenever you pick into your counter and hope to do well. Although Varus right now is playing a little bit with fire. You're gonna get Pike, sure, but once you get that shutdown to Kaisa, the barrier's good enough. Yep. And once you get that shutdown to Kaisa, Souljan will definitely run with it.
Surgeon didn't even use his ulti there. That's kind of surprising to me. He could have probably used that instead of the barrier. Might have been able to get out of that without burning the barrier, but hard to say in this situation. But it is a huge shutdown going over to the side of Kaisa, and now we see Kaisa still 1,100 gold behind this Varus right now.
Lily is gone. Lily is gone.
Lily's-
Tom Kench is not. Lily is finally coming back. I mean, they just don't have the damage to kill Tom Kench. This is not that material. A little awkward to right-click on your Herald whenever people are coming for your laner. But you know what? It doesn't really matter.
Pike is there.
Kind of bullying him.
Pike is looking for a flank. This could go in the favor
I mean,
of Riftbusters. We'll have
There's
to see.
just no
Lilia
cooldowns
is
from
under
Zach
tower.
and Vladimir, right? But they
Ooh.
do come in. It doesn't need cooldowns because Pike brings the damage himself. The sleep doesn't even matter. Tom Kench can't get away from all of this CC. So surely he will eventually go down. I mean, pick up some hard skill stacks while you're there, I guess. But they even get the shutdown to Vladimir. Feels really good with that Pike roam.
Oh yeah, so you're going to be a much happier spot if you are Solomon in this situation now. Unfortunately, Surgeon does have to be careful here. Yone is
Surgeon?
coming after him.
Right, Yone does have ult, Surgeon has to play around it, but you're, oh my goodness, what? They just switched places, and now Matrix is a pump, but now he still has ultimate, and that shutdown is so big for Matrix. I just feel like both players tried to outplay each other, and it kind of went like two ships in the night until suddenly one brought out a huge cannonball and shot the other one straight in the center.
Yeah, that was looking really good for Surgeon there until that ulti. Until both ultis, really. But Pike is back up bot lane now. He might be able to get that tower. It's like 1 HP. I feel like if they have minions auto-attack it 3 times, it'll go down. That tower has 2 HP. Literally 2.
Gotta walk away.
Yeah. I think maybe, I mean, the goal in that from Surgeon being down there was to get the bot lane tower,
Wait, isn't
so
this
with it
first
being
tower
at 2
too?
HP. That is first tower, yeah.
First tower for mid or bot, so it's actually super big. But Zarzi's cast a dodge, will do so. So he's chilling.
Yeah.
Solomon, however, even if he does dodge, he's still got quite a bit coming. Pool is so early. Tom Kench does not care about the tower. He will dive you, especially whenever he can eat you and take you away from the tower. And you've got no tools. Now Solomon does have ult for healing, Q for healing soon. Q healing is good. Pike is
And
here
Pike's
again.
back.
And Tom Kench has to actually flush away, so I guess Solomon is just enough tanky that he can survive these fights as long as he's got a Pike in his back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And they do get the first tower bot lane.
There we go.
Oh my god.
It was 1 auto
That
from
brings-
death.
That brings up the dead even, by the way. Like, Dragon's even, Grub's basically even. I think there's like 3. And the cold is just actually exactly even.
Yeah, OSG got 3 grubs, and unfortunately Riftbusters did not get any. But it is 1 Drake to 1 Drake, 3 grubs in favor of OSG, and dead even gold at this point in the game. And it looks like OSG might be looking to ARAM it a little bit. Which, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix
I
it.
think Pike has to be a little bit careful. They're actually going to engage onto him, but as long as he flushes, Yona's going all in for support. And Surgeon! Surgeon somehow gets caught up in that ult, and he doesn't go all in because it's Yone. So he gets to go out, and that's just a free kill. Wait,
Yeah.
Except... Nah, yeah, he's fine.
And Lilia is very low, but at the end of all that, Solomon does get that top lane tower, but unfortunately they are... OSG is getting prio on this Drake, and I do believe they're just going to be able to start it. With Pike being down and Solomon up top, I don't think Riftbusters can really contest this. So this should be second Drake going over to the side of OSG. And this is a very back and forth game. Like you mentioned, gold is basically dead even.
They brought back the strategy of go all in on Google Map. It's a lot easier to go all in on a Pike than a Maokai. It just works this time.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I got slightly confused when I looked towards the top lane and I saw Baron spawning. And I was like, what is that animation? Oh, it's Baron. Just the Baron.
A little careful. I mean, his time in the Shine is over soon, right? Like, Pike Still can do some crazy things late game, but he was really having his fun earlier.
Hey,
Gotta be a
that
little
item we
careful
were talking
now.
about last game, he's got it. He's got Serpent's Fang now. Or
There's no Iron, buddy! And now Zach is on top of Matrix. I mean, Matrix is still fine. He doesn't have ult, sure, but he was never gonna get trouble bubbled. Still got E. Pike, face checking, or sorry, face checking Pike. But, you know, just Pike things. I was only pretending to one-shot you.
yeah.
Anyway.
I was dashing backwards, not into you. We do see now just Starry Dagger just in the side lane matching up against that Yone, and I do believe with how far actually I don't even know at this point. I don't know that
No,
matchup
teams
there
are-
versus Yone.
Wait, actually, Tom Kinch, I mean, I feel like he can survive this pressure for quite a long time. There's just not enough damage between Pike and Zach onto a Tom Kinch. He just gets to walk away. Now, walk away can't anymore, but he can W away. So the Vladimir ult is used. All this tempo is used, and what they got was Tom Kinch to laugh at them. And now it's Xerxes has got Surgeon. That's a dead Kaisa, right? The damage burst is there. So Varus has to use Barrier, but that's a solo kill on the 80 carry. All these people have used all their tempo. Wait, actually, flash in. Pro might be able to get a kill with the Pike ultimate. They do get it, so it's just an 80 carry trade. Oh, wait, actually, Google Map gonna get engaged on once again, but this isn't Maokai. He doesn't have the tools to get away or root people up. Wait, Sirion, also in trouble. Just so many people suddenly low health and in trouble, but Tom Kinch has a tool that these other people didn't. Oh, he's going in again, but Zach stops it. Crow saving his teammate at the last second. I mean, what is going on? These fights are wild.
These fights are definitely wild. That Pike going in and out, weaving in and out of the fight. I was questioning a little bit him going back in there with 200 health. Almost died to a tongue lick there. But at the end of the day, a 500 gold lead now in favor of OSG. 600, sorry.
Yeah, but if you asked any of these players, like you pause the game and you're like, what's your gold lead right now? I don't think anyone could tell you. It's such a crazy back and forth game. Your feelings as a player are kind of shot at this point, especially whenever the kills are so close. Towers are so close. I mean, yes, I believe OSG Avalanche have a pretty good advantage going into collecting soul, but there's just so much game left to be played.
This game is not close to being over yet. Both sides are definitely scrapping. They're constantly looking for fights. So honestly, at this point, I feel like this game could go either way. Like, yes, there is a 10-4 Varus with only about a 1,300 gold lead on his enemy laner, so it's not like he's like crazy far ahead of this Kaisa. And I do believe Kaisa scales better than that Varus into the late game, but we're gonna have to see. Pike just not landing that hook onto him.
Anya Varus does okay scaling late game, but there's no Kaisa for sure.
Yeah, definitely no Kaisa, and I believe it is harder to play the Varus into the Pike than it is to play Kaisa into the Milio. If we're going to be, well, really thinking about both comps, I feel like Kaisa is going to be a lot happier into the enemy teams, into OSG's comp than the Varus.
Did we say this right? Pike is matching the enemy top laner. This is not where you want your experience in gold to be going. It's a little
we are
awkward.
definitely seeing that, right?
But I guess it works. I mean, you know, late matchups aren't always the end all be all.
Yeah. Sometimes you have the support matching the top laner. Never know. But the unfortunate part is I don't think Pike actually wins that one. He doesn't have enough wave clear to actually match that Tom Kench, and
that's a huge bubble.
Onto Milio.
Milio's asleep. I don't know that you can match that, but the Q you do ignite, but the ultimate comes out. It doesn't even matter.
And he falls. Yeah, I feel like Milio does have the head. I'm feeling like Milio has that global buff that Teemo has, you know, where every enemy on the enemy team focuses you. Feeling like Milio this game.
100%. Wait, I think Kaisa might be in a bit of trouble too. It looks like Humkinch is gonna walk away because of the Zoe. But you know, we've seen this before. You get a pick on one side, the other side Varus just ults your 80 carry. Or you see a Pike Q Tom Kinch where you shouldn't be. I mean, Sergeant has to be a little bit careful, but right now, Hunter also has to be a bit careful. I mean, both teams are just like baiting the other one to engage. However, you get the hook on Xerxes, that's a good sign to go in to get the Tom Kinch ult out. That's really huge. That means they're probably going to start dragging immediately.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the big thing right now is that Riftbusters does have the inside track onto the Drakes. They should be able to get this Drake. I don't think OSG will be able to contest this, but who knows? You got a catfish
they
walking
disagree,
into him right now.
they are coming.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
the
huge
flash
fight
in
code.
gets Syrian in support for support. You'll take that whenever your support spike. If they get the dragon with Kaisa, Yon is in on Sergeant though. Sergeant should go down, but there's no Tom Kench ult available anymore, so I think Matrix should go down. I mean, Solomon
Huge
finally gets
dodge.
what he wants, which is a huge team fight. When he dies to the on-hit Ferris, that Q damage is insane. I mean, where do we even begin to dissect the fight? It's 3 for 3. Kaisa gets the dragon for his team, so it's 2 dragons each. This game is just gonna keep on going.
I'll have to say that was a huge dodge from Solomon's ritual. He used his pool right as Varus was ulting. I don't know if that was on purpose, but it looked really good on my end. And unfortunately, he does still die to that on-hit Varus, but not getting hit by that ultimate definitely helped kill the Varus at the end of that. And that's a big shutdown going on to Zoe, who Zoe's now, okay, still 1,500 gold behind the Yon, but it's going to feel a lot nicer when you have 6 kills on your Zoe.
I mean, okay, look, if you're Zarzies and you get Sleepy Trouble bubbled, Yona's not going to tell you, don't worry, she's 1,500 gold behind me, you'll be fine.
That's
you
true.
still gotta run for your life.
Yeah.
So, I think that Sorry Dagger is going to do more than fine against the targets that he specifically is going to go for.
Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing Kaisa back to the mid lane, just farming it up. Does have that static shiv, going to be able to farm very quickly. And it looks like it might be a 3v3 in the mid lane. Pike hook goes wide. Not quite aiming for anybody there, but we'll have to see what goes on with this. And yeah, that was a crazy drag fight. Pike flashing over the wall to hook Milio over the wall was crazy to see. Definitely not what I was expecting.
I mean, you isolate Millie away from his team, he's kind of useless. That's
Yeah.
not the position that he wants to be in. Also, that Sleepy Trouble bubble doesn't quite come out. Still, Novocaine staying in a lot of damage from that Q. Pike, you are alone right now. Looks like he's going to be able to just annoy Yon. But man, you can only poke the bear so much.
Yeah. I mean, Pike's doing some work right now. He might be 3 and 6, so it might not show on his KDA, but he is landing some good hooks, getting some good damage out onto the enemy team's carries. So we'll have to see. That Zoe's doing a lot of poke damage too, with those Qs, with those Sleepy Trouble bubbles. But Pike looking for another hook, but just gonna clear that ward. Just gonna say,
Yeah,
nah,
more than happy.
I'm gonna get your ward. Yep. And at the end of the day, we're at a 700 gold lead now in favor of OSG. So still,
I mean, that's not real.
insanely close.
It's not real. This game is so even. If you look at a chart where most players get to choose blue side or red side, who's gonna win? I don't know that it wouldn't be dead even. I mean, you've got some conversation about the scaling, but I don't know. Both sides could take it.
I agree. This is a dead even game right now, pretty much for how far we are into the game. Gold difference, it's about 1,000 now, but it's basically nothing. At this stage of the game, almost nothing, pretty much. I think both sides, if you ask both teams where they are in gold right now, they'd say we're dead even. At least that's how it feels.
But if Kaisa gets caught, that might be a bit different. I don't know. I just feel like Varus is just looking, but Varus is getting looked on himself. Looks like he'll be fine. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like there's something brewing in the mid lane, but Milio means nothing too material is gonna happen.
Definitely something brewing. I'm actually kind of amazed. I'm looking at the gold differences right now. A lot of the gold that's keeping this close right now is actually on Google Mop. Which a little surprising.
That makes sense. That's kind of his Pike's whole thing. Are they just starting Baron, by the way? 10 people
they are.
alive, start Baron. Always something you can do. They see it now with Vision. Vladimir's a little far.
TP's coming in.
Teleport in. I think it's a little late. Zach is gonna come in for the steal. It has to be all in this.
Zach gets
They
the
do get
steal.
the steal, and this fight is just absolutely going to go their favor. You have to imagine because Vladimir gets on everyone. Sergeant is untouched right now. Zach still has passive. They are consolidating onto the Zach, so he will fall. But it's just 2 dead for 1, and they get the Baron. Like starting Baron with 10 people alive is always scary. I don't know if it was really necessary, but I guess the team's just got a little antsy. And I understand that. I feel like, wait, actually, speaking of the antsy, I think Sergeant may have walked a little bit too far forward. But Zoe's there to protect. The knock-up not quite coming out. The knock-up doesn't matter if you get the stun, though. Barrier for shield. Ultimate out for another shield. This ultimate is so low. Yes, you got the AD carry, but you lost your own AD carry. Now Hunter is also in trouble. I think with Milio, they should be able to walk away. I heard a flash. I think that was Zoe's stolen flash, so no big deal. Sleepy Trouble bubble goes wide. This dragon is spawning really soon and both AD carries are dead.
What a crazy extended fight there. Not only does Crow get the steal on the Baron buff, but also getting, I believe it was
Trouble bubble.
Tomkins?
Okay, yeah, mine. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got so excited. Then
Okay.
Tomkins did his thing.
And Catfish, as Soulkeeper would say.
Right. I need more alcohol for this. I swear.
Don't think anyone
Wait,
needs
you
more
can't
alcohol.
ult yourself. No, I don't think he's under that much danger because he's pretty tanky. But any amount of damage here. I mean, he's got Warmogs. Who am I kidding? He'll be fine for Dragon Fight.
And again, Rift Busters may have Baron right now, but Gold's dead even. Again. We are
Well,
30
Baron
minutes
has
into the game.
its
There's 100
additional
gold.
stats, which is a little bit different than Gold. It's like Gold you can hold for 3 minutes. Matrix got a nice flick. They didn't even spot him with the Zac, I think. Zaki does give a little bit of vision, so maybe they know. But if that Yone flank goes off properly, that will be devastating. Zac, however, looking for his own engage. Jumping in on the Tomkins, not exactly what he wants. Flashes in to make sure to get the Lilia. Lilia can't really ult anyone good. Flashes in to get a good ult. Yone ult is amazing! Gets down to 80 carry! And the top laner! They're going to lose absolutely everyone on the side of Riftbusters! And that means their Baron is null and void! And the third dragon of their... the third dragon is claimed for OSG Avalanche.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it. I was toggling vision back and forth there, but they didn't know. Like, they didn't have vision of Yone in that bush, so that Yone flank was absolutely massive for the side of OSG Avalanche. And Riftbusters
this
now,
is looking
all the
close to
Barons are
lethal
gone.
damage. Yeah, I don't think they're going to end the game, but losing that dragon's bad enough. Losing this inhibitor would be even worse. Now you can't quite kill Pike. Come on now, but you can zone him out from stopping you from getting this inhib. Teleport mid. They really want to get more damage.
Yeah, OSG should be able to get the tier 2 here, and Pike's leaving the base instead of clearing wave, and Pike's gonna go down.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, that's a bit of a miscommunication. Bit of an overstep from the side of Google Mop, thinking maybe he could kill somebody in the rotation.
But this gold lead is not real, because you see this 4K is only real once they recall. Looks like they will be allowed to do so. I mean, they're still sieging. I don't know, it's hard to say at this point because you're up a Pike, but without this mini wave wasting so much time, these people just bought after that huge fight where they did get a few bit of gold. I mean, I don't know. They don't want to go for it. OSG Avalanche has decided to reset, and now that gold lead will be submitted. But here we are at this game state. I don't even know how to begin to analysis, so I'm glad it's your job.
I mean, we do have your Vladimir farming, and this is the biggest gold lead we've seen since the start of this game, pretty much. OSG is finally 4,000 gold ahead. They got a couple of good team fights. They got some good towers. They got all the Barons off of off of Riftbusters. So that was a very good play on their part. Like I said, mentioned that Yone flank was just massive. I really don't think Riftbusters knew Yone was sitting in that bush, unfortunately. And looks like
Pike is going to go for this. Google does not have the options to get out of it. Now, there's nothing up, so his death won't be too impactful. But they are going to try to use it to get a lot more, if they can, in the top lane.
That's still not what you want to be seeing from your support at this stage in the game. 33 minutes into the game, you don't want to see your Pike getting caught out like that. But ooh, okay, Kaita dodges the bowling ball. I was a little afraid for her for a second, but she should be fine. And yeah, at this point, there is a 16 and 680 carry in the game. Like, that
right,
is
but
a
he still,
spooky bears.
But he still has to be really scared of the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, you know. You take away Baron buff from Zoe, you get some gold for yourself. You still probably die in one shot if you're not careful. So I would be really making good friends with my top laner right now if I was RC. He's like, please be ready to press R on me.
I mean, he does have a wit's end, so maybe it won't be a so it doesn't have
that'll save him. That's some 80 carry cope if I have ever heard it. No, you're still
Well, not Mortius. I probably prefer Mom, not Mortius. That might actually
right.
him. But wit's end will help, at least. Maybe keep him alive for, like, you know, a quarter of a second longer. When
right now, they're
Zoe's
the
got a
ones with
one-shot
position. They're the ones in position around this Baron spawn. It's hard to get Sleepy Trouble, but I think Kaisa might be the one caught out actually. Has to flash out of the knockup, but there's still so much CC coming in. Yon ulting in, doesn't quite hit. He's still in the area though. The stun is good. Kaisa has been eaten. That's the wrong way to carry Tom Kitchen's mouth, but he ults out, so it might be okay. Salva's just dying on the side, by the way. Hunter taking the tower under nobody's business. Pike getting a crucial hook. Amazing hook actually, because now Zach CC come in, but they're just so tanky. They don't care about this tower. They can't get the follow-up hook on to the Varus, so Novocaine will flash in to get the kill on Pike. After all that, only Pike falls? But, I mean, it's just so close for both teams.
Yeah, these fights are insanely close. A really good sidestep, actually, from Surgeon there on the Yone ulti. I believe Surgeon definitely would have died if that hit, but I'm not sure. I feel like OSG. Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Warmox. Warmox.
Just catfish things. Catfish things, you know. Great health, and the Warmog's just a bit too much healing. But unfortunately, like, Surgeon just doesn't have the damage to really be getting these team members down at this stage in the game. Like, the Tom Kench is just too tanky, and that was a stolen flash. I'm like watching it, so it flashes forward.
Wait, actually, without the Sleepy Trouble bubble, it might be enough. Not if the Q misses though, so.
No.
Sarcy's list to live another day. And that's soul spawning right now. I mean, 15 seconds from now. Young's in a really good position.
If the bubble misses, I don't think
not
Xerxes gets one shot with the Wit's End.
Wait, Matrix has a good ult opportunity, maybe. Goes for it now. Kaisa's in so much trouble here. Ult's out, sure, but it's just dead. That's a shutdown for Kaisa. This fight is so much harder without Yon. Crow is jumping out, does not have passive, so he will fall as well. Pike also goes down. Huge amount of CC coming out. Vladimir finally getting to do his Vladimir thing, and Tom Kitch is just on the wrong side of the fight now. Kaisa running for her life, getting the minion wave. I mean, Vladimir might not be able to do it whenever Tom Kinch is in his face. Flashes in, doesn't care about the Tom Kinch. Yeah, but the Lilia will be eaten by Tom Kinch. You can't eat both of them. Support will go down. Now Tom Kinch is the target. I believe that he can walk away, but these teams can't let each other walk away because there's a dragon up.
Yeah, dragon just spawning. That is soul for the side of OSG.
Oh, this is going to be a stun, I believe. Actually, just dodges it. Doesn't even need the pull. The Q heal is so massive. Zoe doesn't need health if she can get some damage off. Lilia is going to heal off camp, so this is just a Tom Kent show right now. He gets slapped. They don't want to go for it. Yes, they do. The Q damage isn't enough without the sleep being affected, though. Going for this dragon is so scary. You do not have your jungler up. Crow is not coming. Lilia is. Now, Lilia is going to get burst up, but this is Soul. That TP is so huge, too. Yon does not have ult. Now it's up. Yon looking for an ultimate. If he finds it on Starry, that's a dead Starry. Kaisa also coming in. Pike able to get out. That's a Yon ult wasted because Pike is able to dodge it. Now, if Vladimir can get back in, if Kaisa can get back in, they find the Pike, sure. But close here, that CC means Yo's in a lot of trouble. Starry Dagger looking for anything. Matrix able to live. He's not going to be able to do damage for the rest of the fight, though. Tom Kinch absolutely going down. You have to imagine that shield will only delay. And once he goes down, Dragon is absolutely on the table. And the only thing that will get sold for OSG Avalanche is a steal.
That's a crazy team fight. That fight lasted for so long. Starting with the TP in from Matrix, unfortunately missing that ultimate onto the Google Mop. I was gonna say Pike. I got P's Pike. Champion name and summoner name there, but
this makes sense, right? You give up your soul, yes, but they have to go defend their base. You have plenty of damage for this Baron attempt. I mean, yeah, it's just theirs.
Yeah, this is definitely just Baron going over to the side of OSG at this point. But at this stage of the game, we're at 6. We're going to a 7 Drake game here. Both teams have gotten a Baron buff, and while both inhibitors have fallen, Riftbusters hasn't lost a single Nexus turret yet. So they're not really super worried about the backdoor attempt yet. But...
Right, and I will tell you, if a Wit's End wasn't going to stop Sleepy Trouble Bubble, what about a Jack show? That is one scared Varus, and I get it. I totally understand. It just looks very funny.
It does. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, Kog'Maw gets it sometimes. Varus gets it. Like, you see it on some 80 carries. Not all, but some. So, I do think it is a decently smart buy. In other words, just to not get one shot by the Zac and Zoe combo. And Vladimir, like, you gotta remember how much magic damage is on the side of Riftbusters. You got a Zoe, you got a Vladimir, you got Kaisa, who does a lot of magic damage too. Like, I think it's a very smart buy at this stage in the game.
Wait, this fight is starting out kind of awkward. Tom Kinch is down in there. He does have teleport. They want to siege his tower with the Baron, but I don't know. There's just so much damage from Zoe if she can land the bubble. Doesn't do so yet. You don't want Zarya to be the front line. I don't know.
It looks like they'll just fizzle out. I do believe OSG is aware of the Pike flank there, despite him being invisible. And
Right, but what about the
do
Tom Ken
win.
flank? Because that guy
I mean,
is deep.
Yeah.
He is
Pike
so deep right now that he's 1v3, does not have any opportunity to get out. No one can start a fight without him. I like
And
this.
he goes
Oh,
down.
the Q comes through. He doesn't get the shield off. And that is so impactful. Your Baron play just ran out once your Tom Kench dies. Bubble finds a Yone. Yone doesn't care, except he has to go back. That's the curse. Now, Vladimir ult finds a lot of people. Pike just randomly falls as well because Varus is just an insane amount of damage. Zoe can't really set up. They find Vladimir as well. Kai'Sa's finally joining the fight. Will get on the Matrix, but
Good
not just
dodge
the
on
ultimate,
ultimate.
barely. That means Yone goes down. Exhaust is a little bit late. Crow has passive. Will have to use it here. I think Sultan's going to be the target, though. Ult's out. Lilia will go down as well. Varus could kill her. If he finds her, the bubble's good enough. The Zanyas, however, means that it's just delayed because that will be a dead Kai'Sa.
What a crazy back and forth team fight there.
All right,
Honestly,
you found
so
the pick on
insane.
Tom Kinch, but you still lost the fight at the end of the day, kinda? I mean, I guess it's 3 for 3. Tom Kinch has teleport, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I do think OSG will be able to get an inhibitor here, maybe? So we might be able to actually clear a wave. It's tougher with a Baron buff for sure, but... Oh, Pike is in the area.
Yeah,
Not
but he
quite gonna
can't
make
find
it.
them, not on vision, so...
Yeah,
Doesn't know where to look, unfortunately.
I mean, he checked where there was vision. But yeah, unfortunately, not going to be able to stop the backs there. The Varus and the Milio will get out, and Drake is spawning in, I don't have timers up, I should, but Drake should be spawning soon. Minute 44, I see the pings coming out, so this is going to be a massive team fight around this Drake, I believe, because both teams
Supports
are at
kind
soul
of
point.
past river. Supports are crazy past river right now. If so, we can get there in time, but we'll get CC'd himself, so...
Yeah.
Can't quite make it. Supports will just
you
hang
know.
out on the river.
Just a trade of vision. Like, alright, I'll walk past each other, we'll ward, South vision lanes go. It's supportal combat,
I don't know. That doesn't usually apply for Pike versus Milio. I feel like one of those bullies the other a lot more. But right now,
Eh.
just having the Qs. So,
Tom Kench is a little bit underextended. Doesn't look like it'll matter. He is a big tanky catfish, so... Yeah.
oh, Vladimir's teleporting again. They want to fight this right now, despite Dragon not being up for another minute. Tom Kinch is on Pike. Pike is able to E out over a wall, but they're all good. That's a Lily ult use, by the way. No,
Oh,
wait, no, that was a bubble. I
Lily
don't know. I
ult.
heard sleepy time, but it's not on cooldown, so my bad. There's a sleep, but it's actually the Zoe sleep on Tom Kinch. He doesn't care. He doesn't
Ooh,
care
that's a
about
huge
that much
Pike, though.
CC though. But you're committing a lot, and the Yone is on your backline. Finds the Zoe, will kill her. Now Yone will also go down, but he has a GA. Zanya's from Lilia is a pretty big deal. Kai'Sa's untouched right now. Finally, he's the target. Has to flash out, has to ult out. Will get quite a bit of people while she's being targeted. Meanwhile, on the back side, Varus is low, able to poke out the Zanyas of the Kai'Sa, but now Pike is here, not able to finish everything. The AD carries are dead. It's support and tank versus tanks. But Vladimir is not your average tank. He will kill somebody if given the chance. I mean, just not this Tom Kitchen. Crow will go down with Solomon watching. And Sarion can't be that close, but he can probably walk up close enough to heal because there's no pressure from the Vladimir getting knocked up. Vladimir's just never killing Tom Kitch. He's basically healing with the Warmonks through it. And that's so
Yeah.
spawned.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna get the soul at this
Solomon?
point, honestly.
Solomon, I think he's dead. Because he's got no opportunity to get out of this. Yes, he can pull for now, but the stun is coming out unless he can dodge this. Going for Sirion as a last-ditch effort. The Q speed is pretty good, but Milio hits the Q. God, the healing is just so much. I thought he was dead for sure. Now the pull comes back up, so he's alive. What is happening? Misses that Q. No Q heal now. I mean, it's a minor Q heal. So instead of getting Dragon, unfortunately, they chase Solomon. Solomon uses also purely on the Tom Kitch. Google cannot kill Tom Kitch by himself. That's not happening. They still have to deal with bot wave, and Soul is spawned. I don't know how they can test this dragon.
I think at this point, Riftbusters needs some heal cut. Like, that Tom Kent is healing for so
they
damn
get
much.
this- Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's close because Pike might get caught out of here again. But Yone's not trying to use that ult on Pike again. He saw what happened whenever that fight went that way. Lilia's got this dragon pretty far down. Tom Kinch waiting for a face check. There's just no chance. So this is Mountain Soul over to OSG Avalanche, and that's the most material advantage we've seen all game long.
Still less than a 4,000 gold lead. We are 45 minutes into the game. OSG has less than a 4,000 gold lead. This gold lead means nothing. I feel like I've been saying that all game.
Right, but what does mean something is the Found Soul of Tom Kitch. He's just unkillable. He can just do what he wants with impunity. Right now, he's going through his Zac onto Kaisa. Yeah, it's not going to get him a kill, but he doesn't care. He just got to do that and walk away. And he's full health.
And Pike, yeah, Google Mop is on the wrong side of the map as well right now.
I mean, it kind of drew them away. So,
Oh,
the Verisalt is
Verisalt's
gone
burned.
now. If he dodges his Q, he just got Verisalt for free. And they're on the Baron right now, I think. They're either that or killing a ward. I think they're just on the Baron. Yone's going to face check. But I don't know how much he can face check. Yone finally comes in, uses the E to confirm. They have to come in here because if they lose this Baron, I'm not sure Moon Soul will matter. So they are coming in. They get the Baron. Google's going to go down, though. And a 4v5 with Baron. A Matrix trying to 1v3. You can't do that, sir. However, Tom Kitch is on the way. Drow's Sleepy Bubble will stop him. Drow's Sleepy is coming out onto Zac. Crow's passive will not save him. So they got Baron, they lost 2, they got Matrix, and now they can secure their base a little bit, but they still have to fight against a Mountain Soul team.
Yeah, what a crazy game this is turning out to be. 7 Drakes so far, 3 Barons. We are 45 minutes into this game. Neither team wants to give it up, but I don't know. There are grievous wounds on the Zac, but I feel like Tom Kent isn't going to be autoing the Zac, right? Like, realistically, the only person who's going to be autoing the Zac is the Varus. I feel like we need more tangible grievous wounds from the side of Riftbusters. Like, we see Vladimir's building for his
they won in the game right now. Matrix also has teleport once he's up in 15 seconds. Pike is up now. Crow is not going to be up for a while, and he certainly won't have passive whenever he's up. They might be just using this for a Nexus, but I think they want more... I mean, they're positioning kind of weird because Cersei's in the front, but he dodges the hook, so it doesn't matter. They get the inhib, and they get out.
Yeah, what a wild game this is turning out to be right now. And we're down to a 2,000 gold lead in favor of OSG.
Yeah, and we've still got 1 or 2 games after this, by the way, because reminder, this is a best of 5. Teams are tied 1-1 right now. We're definitely in for quite the series tonight.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be a wild one for sure. And we're going to have to see. Like, Surgeon is doing quite a bit damage with that Kaisa build. I don't know. I keep saying, like, Riftbusters needs Grievous Wounds at this point. There's a Milio and there's a Tom Kench, both which are healing for a crazy large amount.
Link. Doesn't want to use it, though, so I'll just drop that point. Pike is on Syrian right now. Varus also a little bit in the front. But Starry is not just able to find anything. All he's getting is bubbles on Tom Kench. That doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He laughs at your poke.
Yeah. He's gonna just heal back up.
Wait, I think
I keep mentioning
fighting. Never mind. They're not. They're chilling. And this scene is pretty real because that's 2 super waves, both mid and bot lane. Now bot lane super inhib is respawning on this wave. But he gets knocked up, so he's canceled. Tom Kench, it will happily be 1v4 right now. Yone is on Starry. Can't find the kill though because of that flash. Yone ult still available. Watch for that because the rest of this fight is turning into just a lot of damage traded for nothing. Starry gets the Zanyas out to bait the Tom Kench in. Tom Kench will finally fall. And there's just no follow-up except for the minions on the Nexus towers. They kind of have to worry about that because that tower just went down. They still want more though. They're on top of the Varus. He will go down. That's a lot of kills. You're still losing a lot of your base, but you don't mind if you get the rest of the game done. I mean, he could look for the rest of the base. A recall will finally come out. I mean, I don't think they can do anything with this number advantage.
Yeah, that's so crazy. We are 48 minutes into this game, and we just saw a 3 for 1 in the side of Riftbusters when OSG's basically been in the driver's seat of this almost this entire game for the past half hour. Basically, OSG's been in the driver's seat, and yet we see a 3 for 1 team fight from the side of Riftbusters. Sure, they do lose both the Nexus turrets, which you do have to be a bit scared of now, because there is a Yone who will be having TP up. Actually, now, I don't know what I'm saying. I was going to say it'll be up soon, but it is up. But when are we going to be having this Elder Drake spawn? Because that's going to be the biggest thing right now.
Someone's Nexus has to explode eventually. Right?
Timers.
Not stuck
We got
here
a
forever,
minute.
right?
Yeah. We got a minute until the Elder Drake spawns. And I do believe that Riftbusters should be able to get early prio onto this Drake. Their bot lane inhib did just come back up. All they have down is the mid lane inhib, and that should be spawning relatively quickly. So it's going to be it should be a good position for Riftbusters to fight for this Elder Drake. And I think if they get a good flank, like that Zac had a massive flank in that team fight mid lane. If Riftbusters can make that happen again, while Yon still has his GA down, and while just
It's up
Varus
just
doesn't
now.
have flash. Is
That
it up just
GA
now?
has
Okay.
just ticked up, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's hard to tell with the graphic, but it looks up to me.
Yes, it's definitely up. The easiest way to tell is by the little animation on his level.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you have to worry about. You
Oh, wait,
can't
that's
just give up this
Varus'
Elder like
GA.
you give up the Mountain Drake.
There are multiple
and
GAs up.
Midwave has another Super Wave spawning just out of the base right now, but they want to fight now, which would mean that wouldn't matter. I don't think anyone's in position to go with that Super Wave to end the game. Super Wave will end the game by itself eventually. I mean, they're all in one bush. Zac could definitely have a field day with this if he gets the right setup. Tom Kinch is on the wrong side again, but he doesn't care. He just tanks everything. And Pyke, meanwhile, same position, will not tank everything. Has to run away
Ooh,
for his
Varus
life.
ult
Varus
whiff.
down though. And that is massive. They're going in on this Kaisa, but it's just a Tom Kinch again. You can't do that. Lilia gets a massive ultimate. That's everyone. Zonia's means that your ult will not hit everyone. It doesn't matter though. Out of the Zonias, they are dead. And once the carries are dead, Serjan, looking to live a little bit longer than expected. But I think Lilia's got it. Pyke can't finish that off. There's no one left alive for Riftbusters. I mean, yeah, there's technically a Zac in the back line. That's not gonna matter. Crow has to rush for his life. He will still die. And finally, someone's Nexus will explode. It'll be Riftbusters. And OSG Avalanche will take us to 2-1 in the series. With
What
91k gold in the bank, by the way.
Crazy 50-minute long game. 50 minutes this game went on. That's just insane. That was crazy game 3 that was.
We still got one or two more games, by the way.
Yeah. Still got 1 or 2 more games. That's I can't believe this. Like I'm at a loss for words right now after that one.
Okay, can I just suggest something? We've let this Yon go on for 3 games. Yes, we answered it effectively in the second game. Can we stick to an answer that works? Because one thing I'm concerned about is that, yes, Zoe did a lot this series. But, like, why are we doing a hat trick of 3 different champions to answer the Yon? None of the answers have been banned. We've just decided to go for 3 different answers. And I think that that is a major concern going forward in the draft because, yes, this game effectively could have gone either way. Like, you can't say whether or not you want to repeat this draft for either side. I don't think OSG is like, yeah, let's run it back. We'll definitely win that game again. But at the same time, pick a lane, sorry, and maybe we will have more clear advantages in these games.
Yeah, that was what a crazy game 3 that was. It was definitely insane. That Yon picked 3 times in a row so far. And yeah, that Tom
Definitely the
Kench
best
versus
performance so
Vladimir.
far.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we're just gonna count champions that we've seen, yeah, Yon. Guess we've seen it 3 games in a row. But
we've
he's
also
doing
seen
very
this
well.
Lilia win 2 games in a row. It's understandable why both teams think that this is the best pick on the patch right now. It's 1-2-0 currently. And I assume that we're going to go back to blue side for Rift, and who knows what happens to Lilia pick.
Yeah, who knows at this point? I imagine it'll be first pick if not banned. But ever seen some players say that was a stressful game? Definitely, I could see that.
I could see them also wanting that 5-minute break. Last time I'm like, maybe we'll get some food, maybe I'll chill, and then you can go back into it. I kind of want it to be over. 50 minutes later, a break doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, right. No, I could use a 5-minute break, but we'll see. We'll see what these players think. Maybe they just want to go right into the next game. Who knows? Get that mental They don't need a mental reset. Really, they just want to go in. But we shall see. We're asking if they want to take a break, but at this point, like, what do we think seeing going into game 4? Okay.
I feel like the players have got some interesting questions that they're going to take 5 minutes to really think about it, and maybe I'll take 5 minutes to really think about it because I need to cool down from that one. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the draft for game 4.
just your little secret. I didn't hear the sirens. I didn't wanna see the warning signs, and now I pay the price, yeah. Oh, I should've known. It hits me like a tidal wave every time you say my name. It hits me like a tidal wave. It hits me like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave. I was so blind, waiting patient on the shoreline. Now you're leaving, but I know you got your reasons.
All right, welcome back, because that was a wild one. I'm so glad we got that break. But
Yeah, me too.
we are currently 2-1 in the series. OSG just brought us a victory after 50 minutes. And it is back and forth. Blue side has won every time. And Riftbusters have elected, of course, to go blue side. Draft's going to be interesting, though. We're going to see a Yone and then a fourth pick into it. Because that would be exciting. I don't think this Zoe worked out amazingly. The other two seem fine. But again, I really want some more consistency on things that worked and changing things that didn't. However, what did work was the ASOL ban, so that will continue to be there.
Yeah. And I don't expect the bans to change too much. I mean, after a 50-minute long game, you got to think back. Like, I feel like our draft was fine. We just needed to play a bit better. So I expect to see the same bans. I'm still surprised that Jin never got banned after that game too. But here we are, and yeah, basically the same bans that we've been seeing.
Oh my God, are we gonna have the
And there's
same
the
10
Lilia
champions?
ban actually. So Caitlyn is left
Okay.
open. So maybe we'll see that come out first pick from Riftbusters. It's possible. I doubt it,
I
but
think
it's possible.
it makes sense with Lilia currently being 2-0 in the series. Blue side Lilia pick has been the winning recipe so far. You got to pick that up as red side no matter which team you are. So expect to see Riftbusters also pick up that ban next game if there is a next game and OSG choose blue side. Right now they got to come up with a blind pick. Oh,
And
they
there's the
do go with
Caitlyn.
the Caitlyn. And now we get to see them justify that Caitlyn and say, well, you dropped the little Caitlyn ban. We're going to show you why you never should have ever done that.
We'll have to see. Caitlyn, not the strongest AD carry on this patch. After those changes that they made to Fleet Footwork, even after the buff that she got, she's still not in a very strong state. So we shall see. I'm seeing Redface Beast just saying OSG can just pick Varus though. So we're gonna have to see, but it could just be the Jin Maokai again. That's the thing. Jin is a very good pick into that Caitlyn. So we might just be seeing OSG Avalanche pick the Jin Maokai here. We'll have to see. And maybe OSG will be able to take her first red side win this series. And it's actually gonna be Kaisa Maokai. Okay.
Yeah, Kaisa seeing on the Rift every game so far.
Yep.
I don't. It lost once and has won twice, I believe. No, it has lost twice. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to recollect everything after 50 minutes.
Kaisa won the first game. Kaisa lost the second game. Kaisa lost the third game. So it's it's 1 and 2.
It's looked good all 3 games, so I respect it being a priority pick, especially whenever you want to be on comfort versus something like the Caitlyn. That's a Kayn though, and I think this makes sense because I've seen this Crow guy go for early ganks 3 out of 3 games, and they've been pretty effective. Doing that, except maybe into the enemy jungle to try to trip up Novocaine or just any kind of snowball, could work pretty well with this Kayn pick.
Yeah, but we shall have to see. Kayn is a very spicy pick into this, and it's actually an Alistar to pair with a Caitlyn. Okay,
you know
like
what? It's interesting that the series has been so tight on the champion spec. Like maybe 15 champions over 3 games, and now we're getting some real interesting ones like the Caitlyn, who was banned, of course, and then the Kayn Alistar.
Yeah, these are now on the side of Riftbusters. These are 3 unique champions that have not been played in this series yet. So
here comes one that is not unique, and it's the Yone. And this time they do get to target Starry a little bit, although I don't know why you would, because Starry has shown 3 different champions to play against Yone, despite none of those champions being banned in the follow-up games.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't even know what you target for Starry. Maybe you just let him counterpick the Yone again and see if you can do it a 4th time and come up with something that really works. I mean, the Zoe looked fine despite that being a counter matchup. Vladimir banned, which is interesting. They don't want to go against it whenever 2 top laners get to be banned by Rift Busters, so I respect that. But it looks interesting after last game where Tom Kinch did destroy it.
Yep, the Rumble still being kept out, and the Garen being gone now also. So Garen, I don't know. It seems like in this Garen's taken up priority in the meta after what was it? Whoever the Chovy played Garen versus Nasus mid. As the Garen mid lane pick is the counter pick to the Nasus mid. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
Exciting
Garen's a
times
counter
for the
pick to
mid
Yone.
lanes.
Maybe Garen's a
Exciting
counter
times
pick
for
to the
them.
Yone. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to see Starry pick up the Garen mid if it wasn't banned at this
But
point in the
Hunter has had
series.
excellent times in all of these top lane matchups, whether he's countered or not. And so,
Hmm.
yes, they banned the Mordekaiser, which is, oh, wait, I'm going to talk about Senna first, because that is a unique champion for this game. It means Maokai is jungle.
Senna was
It's
banned,
interesting
I
with
think,
Kaisa.
game 2. Yeah, Senna was banned game 2. So they were, I believe, OSG Avalanche actually banned it game 2. So they obviously recognize that it's a strong pick. And there's the rise.
Here comes the 4th pick into the Yone. Now this one is the most promising one because I mentioned it before as a curiosity. I looked into it. Sorry Dagger has played Rise before. He's 2-1 out of like his 4 games before playoffs. He's played Rise 3 times and is 2-1. So it's definitely one of his most comfort picks likely going into the series. And it works really well with the team comp so far with that Malphite closing out that kind of all-in comp.
Yeah.
But we shall see. I'm wondering if this game goes to 5 games, will we see Starry on 5 different champions, despite none of his previous picks being banned?
Yeah, I don't think any mid laners. The only mid laners that's been banned is Katarina and Aesol.
It's just
But
interesting because you saw the Yone every time and you've come up with a different answer, and I think that's fine. But I'm curious to see why we waited so long for the Rise, and if it's going to be the secret that brings it together. Maybe it's with the team comp, and that's why they chose it. Now, Ornn into Malphite is a way different top lane than we've seen this entire series. We've seen the
yeah,
Ornn before. Usually Solomon's on a carry type role. Now he's playing Malphite, you know? So
yeah, we're gonna get to see a wet noodle fight up in the top lane for sure. To be fair, OSG is not playing a tank in the jungle with that Kane, so they kind of needed a frontliner here. And let's see, I'm guessing that is going to be a red Kane based on the champion that I'm seeing on OSG Avalanche. If you're trying to go blue Kane, you're going to be camping bot lane, which, to be fair, bot lane's been the focus from a lot of these games so far. So maybe it's going to be a blue Kane just looking to hard camp that bot lane, see if he can get as many stacks as he can, and then just try and one-shot that Kaisa and Senna into the mid-late game. But I do anticipate that it'll be a red Kane. Red Kane's generally better in these competitive games. And just that the long time that you have a chance to just heal up, these fights generally tend to go a long time. So I do feel like it'll be a red Kane coming out of whatchamacallit, Crow. But we'll have to
okay.
see once we actually get into game.
Can we agree that if this game goes to 50 minutes, OSG Avalanche surely have an advantage? That would be really difficult to come across
I
for
mean,
Riftbusters.
yeah, I'd say OSG Avalanche has the advantage, but it's hard to say because Rise does scale really well. Problem with Caitlyn is that while if she gets ahead, she's an early game bully, falls off a bit in the mid game, and then late game she's still pretty strong with that range and those crits. So it's tough to say. I'm gonna say I would give the scaling advantage to OSG just because they have that Senna, they have the Ornn, they have the Kaisa, but we shall have to see. Maybe this will be the first red side win of the series. Could
Right,
be.
but Riftbusters have come up with a different game plan. I mean, last time you could argue with the Pike and the Zoe Zac matchup, they really wanted to go for that early game aggression. This time they're definitely doing that. They've got Caitlyn Kane and Alistar. I mean, they want to get the game over quickly, which I don't personally mind. It would be nice to have a shorter game after that last one. But
Yeah.
that means that the teams are dynamically just completely on opposite ends of the spectrum. And I'm curious to see if the bot lane will be able to pull that through because last time they got that early first blood. It was a really well played bot lane level 1. And then they threw it all away. I don't think that will happen with Caitlyn Alistar, but we'll have to see.
We shall have to see. But yeah, at this point, I don't know what else we could say about the drafts, but guess yeah, I think it's a good time to throw it over to a quick break while we wait out for the spectator delay and the champions to lock in players to lock in their champions. So we shall see you all in a few minutes.
I didn't hear the sirens. I didn't wanna see the warning signs, and now I pay the price, yeah. Oh, I should've known. It hits me like a tidal wave every time you say my name. It hits me like a tidal wave. It hits me like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave.
She galvanized me, steady like steel, back on my feet, living for the thrill again, loving for another day. She satisfied me, gave me what I want, just what we need, never too far away, loving for another day. But she asked for something more. She asked for yeah, she asked for something beautiful. She asked for yeah, she asked for something beautiful. She mystifies me. Tell me what I did wrong, I plead. Never did I think we would be loving for another day. But she asked for something more. She asked for yeah, she asked for something beautiful. Something beautiful. Yeah, she asked for something beautiful. She asked for yeah, she asked for
to the Rift for Game 4 of Rift Busters versus Avalanche. Rift Busters right now staring at the walls of defeat, but they've done pretty good for themselves considering they're the lower seed in this bracket. And they've certainly shown that they have a reason to possibly win this match. I mean, this is another level 1 where we're just staring at each other. So,
Yeah.
get to
I
talk
mean-
about the series a little bit more, I guess.
They don't see each other, so they're not technically staring at each other. They're just handshaking, saying, "Hey, I don't want to fight level 1. You don't want to fight level 1. Let's just sit back. We don't. Nothing wants to happen. We don't want anything to happen this level 1." But at this point, like you mentioned in the in draft, this is blue side 100% win rate so far in this series. And some of us
Yeah,
might be
but-
hoping that it doesn't say that way, so we can go to bed. But yeah, here we go.
I
We'll see.
mean,
Blue side will
if I
win
can say
again.
this would be pretty exciting. I don't know if I keep the energy up the whole time, but I promise I'll try.
I do
kinda
always
interested to
love
see-
going to Silver Scrapes. I get we'll be listening to Silver Scrapes on load into Game 5. So
And maybe Matrix would have to play a different champion, because so far he's been on this Yone so many times. He's been doing pretty good.
100% pick rate of Yone so far. It's in this best of 5. So we shall have to see. But so far, a little bit of trading going on in all the lanes. Orn, I don't even know who's winning these trades anymore. Just
Right,
slap
but
fest going on top lane.
I was gonna say-
Auto attack coming
I was
out
gonna
bot.
say Crow started a minor camp, but King always starts Raptors, so that doesn't really count. But he is in position for a potential level 3 gank, and so was Maokai. Novocaine also started a minor camp. Both of them are moving to the last camp now. I believe Kane will finish and be in position first. Also, the enemy bot lane is right here in the face of Kane. Watch where Maokai goes, because I believe Kane is pathing right towards that Kaisa Senna.
Yeah. I mean, one thing to point out, I didn't mention it in the draft. Kane did go Conqueror this game,
he's leaving.
so
He's
Yeah.
dipping.
Kane did go Conqueror, so that whatchamacallit? What am I saying? I can't think of the word. That speaks to me that he's probably going Red Kane this game. That generally, if you're going Red Kane, you want to take that Conqueror. If you're going Blue Kane, you generally take that Dark Harvest.
Oh, that's a
or-
root. I think this is a bit of trouble for Caitlyn. She wants to be the lane bully. Right now, the health bars are not saying that is what's happening. I mean, I guess with Alistar, you have that potential of all-in. But junglers are just so far away now, because both of them have passed towards this top lane. And the 2v2 looks kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not sure that I want to take this as a Kane. Maybe looking to be a bit more aggressive into the jungle, because I'm not sure you ever kill this Ornn.
No, you'd never kill that Ornn, especially with the Malphite there. But like I was saying, if you're going Red Kane, you want to be farming off those melee champions. So I'm expecting to see Kane play more around the top side of the map here. And as we're seeing, is looking for a gank onto that Ornn. But so far
Yeah,
hasn't
but
landed
this
any
means-
abilities, so no stacks.
Maokai's slipping in onto that crab. But he has to kite it up, I think. He was starting on the bot side. No, he got it to go down. And now Crow's just gonna say hello to Hunter again. Maybe you do kill the Ornn if he's not careful. Red buff's ticking. Q goes in. You have to be a little careful because Maokai's here as well. So Maokai gets the farm advantage. Kane, however, does get Malphite a nice little bailout because that was not looking clean for Solomon until that moment.
Yeah, you gotta remember though that his top lane, they do both have TPs, so even with that health lost, at any moment Hunter can just back and go get a health refresh. And looking for a good trade onto the Malphite there. Despite that
That
Kane.
even baited Crow back. So Crow has delayed this recall an immense amount of time now. He's always gonna be pretty okay farming against Maokai, but he's down a camp.
Yeah, I mean, that camp is just the Scuttle Crab. You gotta remember that. But Scuttle Crabs are very important early game. We'll see. Maybe Maokai will be able to double Scuttle, but Alistar is dropping a ward onto that Scuttle Crab, so the side of Riftbusters will be able to spot out that Maokai if he is going to go for that Scuttle Crab. That bot crab. But
Right,
here we
this is
are.
the time that's pretty impactful for Caitlyn. She wants to crash this wave. Maokai's there. Kane is not.
This is where we're
Looks
seeing
like they're just
Caitlyn
gonna
do
be
what
stuck
she
in an
does
awkward
best.
spot. Right, but it's kind of an awkward spot because they've got the freeze. However, they do see the Maokai coming, so they get out of it okay. But
Hunter hasn't
I
actually
mean,
backed yet, top yet. Surprisingly, he's still sitting here at half health when that Malphite is full. Does he care though?
he's
Is the
still
real
going in for
question.
trades. Now, any trade is a good trade if you don't die after your opponent has teleported in and you haven't, because you get to teleport back in and go to full. But you're level 6 to level 4, it's also a good trade. gets the ult off, gets the auto off, gets the W off, goes flash for the first blood, and it's the same thing we saw last game.
Yeah, very good play. I was gonna say it might be a little greedy for Hunter to have not backed yet, but you know what? If you get a kill, get first blood onto your top laner. I guess I can't argue when you're level 6 to his level 4 after that. And this is gonna look really rough for Malphite. He had just burned his TP to get back in the lane, and now he dies, has to walk back. He's losing that entire wave top lane. Maybe not the entire wave, but a good portion of that wave. He's losing out on so much XP right now. And now Ornn is he doesn't even have to burn his TP to get back up top lane. He's just walking back.
Nope. He could chill and walk back for sure. Now, Starry on this Rise, it was banned out from him for a while. Jungle, by the way, bot here. I'm going to talk about that instead. Because the All-Star gets a little too scared because the W's down. Flashes in. Here's a Maokai, though. Sarion is going to be okay. Surgeon does not want to get anywhere close to that. Yone's here as well. I totally missed that. And it looks like All-Star did too. Because he is going down. They even blow the Yone ult to make sure that Matrix gets it. Now, Rise does get the wave in because of this, but that should be the first dragon secured for OSG Avalanche.
Yeah. And then I didn't check the vision there, but I do not believe that OSG or Riftbusters had vision of the Yone walking down. On the bright side, Pro is going to be able to take the Rift for that. Rift rubs on the opposite side of the map, but
wait, can Kaisa come map this wave? Walk into the level 7 Rise. Looks like Starry doesn't want to go for it because he doesn't know what's behind the Kaisa. Be a little scared walking in this Kaisa there. But now that Yone's on the way, we're chilling.
Definitely a little bit spooky there, but Kane and Yone, oh my god, this could be a 3-man collapse on the mid lane here.
Right, but there's no Yone ult. Maokai's not even 6. It's really just to get the wave in.
Yeah. I mean, Kaisa should be looking for a back here. She hasn't gotten the back in yet. She is sitting on about 1,800 gold.
Malphite ult is down. I don't know that they want to continue this without that option.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter is doing so much damage as this Ornn right now. And
wait, the flash from the Alistair, Hex Flash rather, gets a real flash on a Matrix. And that's pretty big for this lane. Because right now, Rise wants to be bullying this Yone as so much as possible, including right now. There's no Q of right now, so Yone taking every damage that Rise will throw at him.
Yeah. That, actually, the trade's going in favor of the Rise right now, so that's kind of surprising at this point. I don't know how the Rise versus Yone matchup normally goes, but we've been seeing Starry get counterpick on this Yone 4 games in a row, and it's the 4th separate champion that's played in a row versus this Yone. But this top lane matchup is looking real spooky for the Malphite right now. 2 levels down,
right?
Or just hitting that tower, ignoring the Malphite really. Slapping him, getting that grass proc.
And I think that ultimate might just be lethal, but bot lane's also turning lethal. Yeah, that's just a dead Malphite. Bot lane, meanwhile, there's a Kayn coming, which is really important because Caitlyn was gonna die there if he wasn't available. But all this means that Caitlyn gets the lid knockup is good. Flash out. Maokai's here though, so they have to play pretty safe because Maokai can get onto them. Now the flash out from Crow is good because Maokai doesn't have ult yet. He's only level 5. He's down a level there. But with this top lane problem, you can't just be bailing out your bot lane. You've really got to get something done. Because this Ornn will be the problem of the game if you don't have any pressure anywhere else.
Yes, this Ornn is already a problem, honestly. Solo killing the Malphite under his own tower. It's just... it feels really bad on the side of Malphite. Not what you want to see from your top laner right now. Especially when you have the Kayn who wants to be going red with that Conqueror, and he's having to just bail out his bot lane. You want to be focusing like the top mid if you're Kayn right now, because you want to be going red buff. You want to be getting those stacks, and if you're just focusing down the bot lane, you're only getting blue stacks from the bot lane right now, because you're going against that Caitlyn Senna double range matchup. Not Caitlyn Senna, Kaisa Senna. Gosh, getting champs confused which side they're on. The first time we've seen Caitlyn in this series. We've seen Kaisa every game. Looks like another trade coming out top lane. Ornn does have that Hollow Radiance, so you're seeing that damage come out, and it has to feel bad if you're the Malphite, having to rush that Bramble Vest. Ornn does mixed damage, so just stacking armor against him is not going to work. And...
absolutely. And it just kind of feels like OSG has found the solution to the problems that Riftbusters have asked him throughout the series. Yes, Surgeon is a problem, but if you're going to ban all the AD carries anyways, might as well let him have Caitlyn and just try to play the best bot lane you can with your Maokai pressuring as well. I think there might be a fight here, however. I don't know that they can take this 2v1. Malphite does have ultimate this time. It's 2v2 though because Sirion is here. They have to run for their lives. I think they do get out because Ornn doesn't have ult yet. But this is a huge tempo loss for Kayn. And I don't think they get the proper punish off bot lane because Alistar's not in position to dive. We'll have to see on this wave. Zarziz has to play it a little safe. You are 2v1 right now. Alistar wants to go in. Goes in with the dive. Barrier used immediately to prevent damage. Alistar's tanking though. It's totally fine. Senna ults, making it a 2v2 in a way. So they do escape with Kai'Sa's life for that tempo loss. And that means they also get the grubs on the top side.
Yeah. That was a overall very good map play from the side of OSG, honestly.
I think it doesn't want to go under tower, so Star is okay for now. But Senna is not done influencing the map after they finish getting the grubs.
Definitely not. And Kai'Sa over here just able to safely farm under tower versus a Caitlyn and Alistar. And like, let's be honest, that should not be a lane that a Kai'Sa can safely farm under. And Alistar is there, but he's very low, and Kai'Sa has her Senna back. So now she can look for those aggressive trades more and maybe pull out something onto Google Mob. Like, you're very low cow in this situation.
Alright, so they will just take the reset, and that means they are in good position to come back with full gold against this dragon, which would be a very important take right now because they are not the scaling team, and they are not the winning team right now.
No, they aren't. That's for sure. Well, Ryze does scale well. You can't discount Ryze's scaling. Ryze becomes a monster in the late game once you finish your Seraph's Embrace. I'm surprised he's not going for Roa first instead of opting to finish that Archangels.
Doesn't want to commit onto the Senna with so many people collapsing, so Kayn will just walk away. But this dragon's so hard to get.
Yeah, OSG actually having cryo.
Actually, Crow is just in trouble right now. He's rooted up. He's got no E. He has to use the R right now, but that does mean Matrix R is wasted. Yet he's still stuck in the middle of a lot of people. Caitlin's finally coming in. Ornn is here, though. They were not expecting the top lane. Malphite's teleporting in now. Crow actually is able to live, and that's a huge deal. Huge 3-man ultimate from Malphite, but there's no damage follow-up. Soljan, it's not auto-attack for 2 seconds. Finally, now he's on the tanks. But there's still a Kai'Sa coming around the corner trying to kill your Malphite. They do eventually get people, but I think Kai'Sa just cleans up. Kayn gets 2 now, but the Kai'Sa will get 2 along with Ornn getting 2. And that is the second dragon for OSG along with a huge gold swing.
Yeah, crazy Drake fight there. Now, suddenly a 2,400 gold lead in favor of OSG. And look at that top lane tower. Like, if you look at the top lane wave, they're not even losing whole top lane wave for that. For the Ornn just walking bot lane and now
you can't steal. I mean, I guess there was no Maokai there, but now you're just giving your life for at best a 30% chance. I mean, you're still a support. So Alistar flashes down. I mean, that was Hex Slash, I think.
That was Hex Slash, yeah.
I get the idea. I get wanting to be the hero of the play, but that felt more like desperation than a well thought out plan.
That felt like desperation for second Drake. Like, you can give up second Drake. It's not the most important. Like, yes, you do want to stop that Drake stacking, especially when the enemy team has that scaling comp, but I don't think giving up your life as the support for a chance at stealing is worth it at this stage in the game. Especially for only second Drake. But,
regardless,
here we go. We got Kai'Sa has her first item done. Which is what you want.
Still putting some pressure out there because Kayn has a really good dive potential. They do have Senna ult to overlay on top. He still wants to go for it though. Caitlyn ult will land. No, the Kai'Sa ult makes his teammate block it. There is so much shield on this Kai'Sa. He's not dying anytime soon. Crow, Kayn can get out of a lot of tricks. Not this one because Yone ult has come in. And they've committed so much to this dive, there's no world they're getting out. Maokai ult will ensure it. Alistar will block it with the ultimate, but now he will be the sacrifice. I don't think there's any follow-up damage. That's like a mini Malphite ult, but just no damage follow-up. And now the rest of the team got baited coming back in. They're all falling. OSG Avalanche are just rolling them after that 50-minute game. They want to be done. They want out of the series.
They're tired too. They're going, guys, we need to go to bed. We all have work in the morning. Let's finish this game quick. And that's what the plan is right now. And so far after that, it is now a 4,000 gold lead, which I think is a bigger gold lead than we saw in all 50 minutes of that last game.
And I don't even think this is OSG particularly playing much better than they did in the first 3 games. I think this is just the adaptations that they've been able to make in draft and a slight strategy shift where they understood that the problem was Surgeon got too far ahead in the game they won. Even in the games that OSG won, Surgeon was still a quite issue. If you blow him up with Novocaine's pressure, and then you make top lane Hunter's lane, ban out Solomon's carries, make him on something on Malphite, or even the Vladimir last game, and Hunter can just roll him in the 1v1 in isolation, even with Crow in the area, the game just looks completely different.
Oh yeah, this game looks way different than the first two games, I would say. Even the third game, after that 50-minute long game, it feels like, honestly, it doesn't feel like the same teams. I feel like we're watching 10 different players on the Rift right now after the first three games. But right now, it looks like OSG just gets that repair.
Kind of caught here. I mean, Yon has to go back, but Orange still does quite a bit of damage. They don't want to commit that much. They don't have Ornn ult, so it makes sense. Actually, they do. Maokai ult is coming out. And Malphite, yes, he's tanky, not whenever he's this far behind. So he will be 1v5 and going down. Crow's just trying to take the wolves while watching his teammate die. It's so unfortunate for him, because Kane has to do anything to get back in the game. Now, Ryze does find a Kai'Sa. This would be a huge shutdown. The ultimate's just enough, though. There's so many ultimates coming out that they saved. And now Crow is in trouble on the tower. Okay. Will be shut down for Ryze. That's maybe something. Yon is going on a tower. He doesn't care. He's 1v4. He is able to uncommit because Yon has that ability. So Crow will have to ult in. He cannot uncommit. Will go in on Matrix. The heal is enough from Senna though. The buffs are just too much. Or get someone on the backside and we'll get someone on the front side of the ultimate as well.
And I didn't even see that all the cord gun coming out.
Oh, Surgeon. Good luck, buddy, because this does not look good. Kai'Sa will pick it up.
Yeah, and this is looking like a bit of a disaster for Rift Busters at this stage in the game. 17 minutes into the game, almost an 8,000 gold lead in favor of OSG. This might be the biggest gold lead we've seen in this entire series so far. And we do have Drake spawning. Yeah, we do have Drake spawning in quite soonish, 42 seconds. So. And that is an Infernal Soul. That might be the first one we've seen this series too. So this is gonna
definitely
be
one that you might consider sending your Kane over to Suicide to try to steal. I don't think it's one you can contest at this point because Caitlyn has an Infinity Edge versus their Kai'Sa's 2 items. Your mid lane is just now catching up. I mean, Seraph's Embrace is good. It's not, quite where you want to be for your major fight of the game. And your top lane is just a Malphite with Thornmail.
Okay, trying to flash W there. Kind of missed the W.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They can just afford to engage like this because there's no follow-up. Well, maybe not if they go under 2 towers. Novocaine will go down here. Google is not the target you want to be bursting. So I think they have a chance of catching out Yon, but they just don't have any follow-up. Malphite doesn't want to ult onto it. This is a huge deal right before Dragon. I just don't know if it's huge enough.
I mean, jungler is down for OSG. The jungler is down.
Because even if you lose this dragon, if you win this fight, you get to get everything on the map. It looks like Orange is going to start the fight before starting the dragon. He's 1v5 right now. He does not care. Yon finds onto the Ryze. Ryze has to run away without doing anything. Google coming in to sacrifice himself. But they get everyone else as well. Sirion, a little bit caught out. I think he'll be fine with it, though. He doesn't even die because there's just not enough damage. Finally, he will go down. Crow's gonna follow for it though. Starry also trying to get anything he can. What he can get is an Ornn to the face. No WF, so he'll be able to root that guy. But that means third dragon's still going over.
Yeah, I was gonna say that should be soul point now going over to OSG. So huge, especially when a team that is snowballing this hard and it's an Infernal Soul. That's just gonna help speed up the snowball even more if they're able to secure that soul. Which at this point, I imagine they'll be able to. With how far ahead they are, almost 8,000 gold lead. So they did lose a little bit of their gold lead in that fight, but they did pick up soul point. They were able to pick up the fight win, and this Ornn is 9-0-9 right now. With a Warmogs and a Hollow Radiance done. He just upgraded his Warmogs with the ornament, and you gotta imagine once he starts giving out those ornaments to the rest of his team, it's gonna be like that Kai'Sa's gonna start popping off even more. That Senna, the Yon especially, like Kai'Sa and the Yon want to keep an eye on after they get their Ornn items.
Zary's is even going Zanya's because he knows the only way they could possibly have an issue is if he's caught out with no follow-up. Might as well get Zanya so you're safe from that possibility. And you can try to send the control mage to deal with Ornn. I don't know if it's going to work out the way you want it to. I mean, I guess if you send Alistair, sure. But this
Ornn's
is
got the
just
Hollow
overloading.
Radiance.
They're sending 3 people? I don't even know if this is enough to kill him, especially with that tower still available. Although it is pretty low. Google's going to start tanking. I mean, they just don't have enough damage, right? Finally, Kane comes in, send an ult to try to protect. There's just no one to stun after the ult comes out. Maokai ult is coming in. They're finally going to kill him with the 1,000 gold shutdown. Here's a Yone, though. Yone will pick up
And
1,
Kaisa
will
ults.
pick up 2. I mean, Kaisa also picks up someone. Yone has to back away. Kaisa will do more than fine, though, and a Malphite ult is available. That's a root onto Kaisa. There's no Zanyas yet. There's just no damage. He doesn't even want to go for it. He's thinking about ulting out, not in. Tries to save his A to carry with it. Will die in the process. And that's right by Baron. There's just so many options.
Yeah, OSG takes this Baron extremely quickly with the Yone, with that Kaisa, who's at 2.5 items. So I do believe they can just walk straight over to the Baron. This should be a Baron take from OSG at this point. Maybe they want this tier 2 first, but they don't have to wait for it. But I feel like this should be Baron going in favor. They really can. They have still only an 8,000 gold lead. Gold lead hasn't been ballooning too much in the past few minutes, but at the same time, it feels like OSG is in complete control of this game right now. Like, what can you, if you're Rift Busters, what are you trying to do right now? Like, how are you trying to come back from this game?
You have to get a pick on the Kaisa, which means blowing up her Zanya soon, because she's gonna have that before you get another chance. Unless she stays out now, I guess technically, you do have Ryze ult. I don't know. You have to kill this Kaisa, I guess. So you got 1 shutdown on the Ornn. That's the other one showing up. It's sad that there's only 1 shutdown on the map right now. At least in terms of champions, despite what we're seeing right now. But if you get the shutdown on Kaisa, then you get an objective shutdown. Maybe you can wait. Actually, Matrix is totally acceptable if you do pick him up, but he can just ult onto you. Senna ult also means he's not going anywhere. Malphite will fall first, and the rest of your team will surely follow. They do get the kill on Matrix, but now they're stuck in a 4v4. They absolutely cannot win. Maybe they're not that stuck though, because one side is Crow getting out, and the other side Hunter is going under tower. Then he kind of has to leave.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's step 1.
One thing to note, Drake is spawning in a minute 30, and OSG is just in complete control of this mid lane right now. I don't think Rift Busters can carry even walk up to get vision on the Drake. Even OSG only has a couple of pink cards, but...
And now Zanya's will surely be finished, or at least arm guard, which is the important part of that.
Yep.
You get
and Kane
1
is
tower.
looking at tier 1. That is an objective bounty, so that will be getting a little bit of extra gold into their pocket, but still 7,000 gold behind, so it might. I don't think it'll be enough, especially with Drake spawning in a minute. Like, OSG got their backs in, they should be able to go looking for this Drake vision.
Arn is
Hunter,
a little
bit of a bad
overextended
spot.
here, but no one can kill him. This Caitlyn heals him. Malphite certainly isn't going to bring the damage. Stunned, does not care. He's literally walking circles around them, and then they can go back to Dragon.
And he has the Warmogs too, so you know he's just going to sustain right back from that. Like, no issue whatsoever. You're perfectly happy taking that much damage as the Ornn in this state. And he's back to full. He is back to full. And TP's actually coming out from the Rise.
One day we install this game is for Crow to get a Miracle Steal off. I think that's their only option right now. They're going for the fight though. And once Solomon gets rooted up, it's a little difficult. Sergeant, if he gets rooted up, he's dead. He gets rooted, he gets stunned, he gets dead. And now you just don't have Caitlyn. You have to rely entirely on the Rise. So watch the Rise. The Rise right now is running away from a Yone. Yone is not able to finish it. That damage on right. Oh, Kane has actually gone with him on a trip. But he's alone. Kane's actually in the pit by himself, I guess. Which is kind of interesting. A nice flank. But without the Caitlyn damage, I mean, it's all on Rise right now.
Yeah. And I imagine this should be Soul going over to the side of OSG. And they don't think Kane's there.
Yeah, they're not going to be lazy and let Kane get that off. Now, Kane has a lot of tricks in his bag, especially with Google. If he goes through this Ornn to get a word off, they have a chance at a steal. But they absolutely need the steal because I just can't imagine this getting any better versus Infernal Soul. Now the knockup's good, but Matrix is just gonna die, and once he's dead, Soul is an absolute certainty. Don't think Alistair's gonna flash over for this one. Matrix is on the wrong side of this wall, so maybe another kill would be nice. They get a lot onto him though, and they're stuck in a fight now without Alistair cooldowns and Malphite cooldowns, so he will go down as well. This is an Infernal Soul team that you're fighting against. It doesn't matter if you kill their Yone. Maokai will kill you if he gets the chance. Senna certainly will. So Ornn will pick up that one. And now they're retreating away from a team who could just go to Baron or go to midwave.
Yeah. This is definitely a rough spot to be in terms of just being Rift Busters. You just lost Soul to the side of OSG. Sure, you did get Matrix, but he's not worth the most gold. You have not managed to kill this Kaisa yet with a massive gold shutdown. Be 1,000 gold to go over the side of OSG or Rift Busters if they're able to get it. But OSG just takes this Baron so fast, and I don't think Rift Busters can contest
Pro's
this.
gonna try Miracle Steal. But he's got so much CC to get through, they're not even going to kill it. They're just going to go on him. You can't kill the Kaisa through Senna. Ornn's here just to make sure. And once that guy's down, there's no chance you're stealing this Baron. So you might as well go mid and try to get Matrix, I guess. But you can't just
Matrix is looking for a fight there.
Yeah.
Matrix is like, I'm gonna just zone the rest of the team out. You guys take the Baron.
Yeah, and 4 games of Yone, the one with Infernal Soul looks the scariest. I mean, last game's Yone was pretty damn scary as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to fight that guy. He has Infernal Soul.
Definitely not. But this should be a good Baron power play from
You
the side
can
of OSG.
initiate on Ornn. He doesn't care. He can tank the tower for 10 years. They're just killing the tower while Ornn is tanking it. Now the Yone with Infernal Soul wants to get in, gets rooted up, so he'll have to back away. But at the end of the day, you used everything, and what you got for it was losing your tower slightly more gracefully than you would have otherwise.
That W
And now
is so
Kaisa's just
close.
going in. He doesn't care. This is a Kaisa initiation because of the Zanyas, because of how far ahead they are. That's going to be the inhibitor take, and it might just be the game. Crow has no ability to stop this, even if he lives. How do you even get back to your base? You have to press the recall button? Like, Ornn is backing so that way he can teleport for the lethal push. That teleport is awkward because it means nobody's actually taking the tower. And that means he gets to kill on the Maokai, which is something. But you lost your last Nexus tower. Yone might fall here, but it's a race between him and the Nexus. Looks like Nexus is going to be the first thing to fall. Kaisa ulting to dodge that. And that will be the series as OSG move on into playoffs.
Wow, what a crazy game.
So, that was a series for sure. I think both teams definitely showed up today. It may not, it's always unfortunate whenever you have like a really intense game that feels like it go either way, and like, oh man, it's definitely going to be a real series. We're so excited, and then something like this happens. But I mean, sometimes that's just like whenever you lose a 50-minute game, you kind of lose the match too, and I don't blame them for that either. Imagine losing that 50-minute game where you think you have a chance at every turn, and then you have to play 2 more games and win both of those. I definitely don't fault them, but OSG were the ones to show up today and to win the series.
Yeah, definitely a bit hard to keep your mental after that game 3, I think. It was a really rough game, very close the entire time, and I do think in the end, OSG probably had the better mental throughout the entire series, especially in that game 4, and overall just showed up to the day a little bit better, and what am I thinking of? Overall, both teams, it was a very close match. Like, none of the games, except for maybe game 4, was like an extreme blowout. So it's good to see that both teams were pretty evenly matched here, and it's definitely a very exciting series to watch. Very bloody.
Yeah, and I think for opponents of OSG going forward, they've got to figure out how to answer these solo lanes. I mean, Zarzi's did fine, especially this last game. He certainly popped off. But the name of the series was the solo lanes. They just continued to go unanswered throughout the series. It got worse and worse. Now, Matrix's Yone had some, stumbling blocks, but Hunter, the last 2 games absolutely was a problem.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Hunter just looking very strong in the top lane, really all 4 games. It seemed like Hunter just knew what he's doing, knew all the matchups, didn't always have the counter pick, but definitely knew what to do with his champions, how to bully out the other champions. And just looking back, I forget, I hit Garen game, no, he did the Ornn game 2, that was right. That's right. And then game 3, or game 1, he had the Mordekaiser. So it felt like Hunter definitely knew what he was doing, knew how to play these matchups, and definitely knew the champions very well. And played three, yeah, he played three different champions throughout the 4 game series. Played Ornn twice, Mordekaiser once, and Garen once. So not quite the starry playing a different champion every game, but still very good showing, very deep champion pool from these players, and it's good to see. It was definitely a fun series to watch.
And now, because of the off-series matches that were played, we do know who the OSG will be facing next. They will be facing Conduit Monarch. Now, this is another Sector 2 team. So Riftbusters was 4th place out of Sector 2. Conduit Monarch is 2nd place. So that means, once again, these teams have not played against each other. Conduit Monarch now has plenty of VOD to review to figure out how to deal with these solo lanes and the rest of the team of OSG. And again, you're moving from 4th place to 2nd place. So OSG certainly have their work cut out for them in the follow-up week.
Yep. But I think on that note, it's a good time to call it for the night. It was great to be here. Thank you all for sticking around, especially in that 50-minute game. That was a crazy one, especially for us, definitely for the players. But thank you all for watching, and I think it's time to go tonight. And thanks production. I almost forgot. Thank you, Soul.
Turn it all out, told me every secret. Said that I care, asked do you mean it? It's been months since we've been okay. I'm putting